Hey footy fans, welcome to the Point of Difference Rugby League podcast. I'm your host Dave, and today we're going back in the day with one of the great Kiwi legends. He hails from the West Coast, but we've totally claimed him here in Canterbury. It's the one and only Brent Stuart. How you going, brother?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Oh mate, it's fantastic to have you here. Thanks heaps for coming on the show. So you've been here in Christchurch for a long time now, but you're from the West Coast. So how do you like Christchurch, and do you get back over to the coast very often?
We quite like Christchurch. I think I moved over here in 1990, and when we went away to Australia for a few years and come back, and I've been here ever since. I think come back here in 1998, and we've been here since. We get home. Oh, the wife gets home about once a month. Her parents are getting a wee bit older now, so. She likes to get over there as much as she can. Yeah. And I don't go over as often as her, but I get over there a wee bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. It's nice. It's a different place over there, is it? Everything's a bit slower.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because the last time I was over there I was over there a couple of weeks ago for my father-in-law's birthday, and the wife was sort of thinking, this would be a nice place to come back and retire. There's no hassle on that, and I thought, you got to be kidding, don't you? But once I sort of sat back and how do we think about it? She's probably quite right. It is a nice laid-back place, and and the weather over there. I think it's some pretty rough weather, but it's nowhere near as bad as people make it out to be. She's been over there this weekend, and there hasn't been a cloud in the sky for the whole weekend.
Nice.
We used to see on the news they get orange weather warnings and that, and we've gone over there and there's no rain or nothing, so it's a funny old one. Yeah,
well, as a runner, like me and my wife, we always thank the West Coast for taking the brunt of all the weather, so we run in beautiful conditions over here. It's fantastic. Right. Go the West Coast. So what are you up to these days, man? What are you doing with yourself?
I work for Ensco Foods. I'm a supervisor in the yards, so it's quite good. We're out at Raudonikis, so it's quite a long day.
Okay.
I don't really have a great deal of time to do coaching and stuff anymore, which doesn't really bother me because I've sort of done my bit there. So I just go to work and enjoy my weekends and stuff like that.
That's the way. Does it like shift work, long 12-hour days type of thing?
It's just that, I carpool with one of the other supervisors. You had him on the show not so long ago, Phil Prescott.
Yes.
By the time I leave home probably about 4:15 in the morning.
Okay.
So we get there for 5, and we start processing about 6, and then we sort of finish about 3.
Okay.
If we do overtime, it's 4. So. And then you got the drive home again. So it's probably the driving there and back takes up a bit of the time. So
yeah, I can relate. I drive to Darfield from here. I leave at 5 in the morning and back home at about 7 at night. So we're on the same page there, mate.
Yeah,
totally relate. Right. So let's rewind the clock. As we said, you came from the West Coast, and that's where you grew up. And so what was life like for you as a young fella living on the West Coast?
It was all right. I was actually I was born in Reefton, in Bulla.
Right.
A lot of people over here seem to think Bulla's the West Coast, but it's actually a different province.
Okay.
We lived in Anangahoua Junction, and then we got relocated to Hokitika in '68 after the Anangahoua earthquake.
Right.
So then I don't really remember any of that, but and then I just grew up in Hokitika, went to the St. Mary's School, and just did what all the other lads did there. We played a bit of rugby on the weekends and went fishing and possum trapping and all that sort of stuff. It was all good fun in the day. Yeah, man,
that's like great, simple times, no computers and technology back then.
No, well, we could do everything, we only needed a push bike, we used to push bike out into the bush and set our traps, and we'd come home, get out there before school and that was our pocket money, awesome. Doing the old possum skins and stuff, and whitebait season was always good. I used to love the whitebait season.
Brilliant.
Me and a couple of mates were, and they're still doing it now over there. They're right into the white baiting and that now, and the hunting and that, where I've sort of, it's all gone with me now. I don't do none of that sort of stuff now.
Yeah.
I do a bit of surf casting. That's about me.
Nice. So, where did that love for footy start? Like you started playing rugby. Was it when you really was passionate about it, or was it something that, like, the passion to play came a little bit later on?
Oh, it definitely came later on. When I went to, let's St Mary's, they were a very proud club over there at the time. They were a very strong club for as long as I can remember. Growing up in that, we always used to look up to our St Mary's senior team.
Yeah.
They were good. My age, the guys in my class, none of them really played much football, so I ended up playing rugby. I was always played a year or two above my grade.
Okay.
So all my mates now are all, they're all 60 this year. So would be in the under 18s. I'd be there at 15, and they'd be there at 16 type thing,
Right.
and then we'd go up once they moved up. Once they got to their age, I just moved up with them.
Okay.
I did go down and play a bit of rugby with my younger brother and his mates. I could actually fit into both sides.
Okay.
So.
Do you think that helped you? Like, obviously, you reached some great heights, later in your career. So playing against older guys maybe steeled you a little bit as a younger fella.
Possibly did. Rugby on the coast back then was very strong, especially as our senior competition. We had some bloody great football rugby players there, and like I said, always playing for with the boys, the lads I grew up with. Always playing them older fellas all the time, and we had a pretty good side too. So like I think it was 16s and 18s, I think. So when we go the first year in that grade, we'd struggle a bit.
Yeah.
Because the guys are into their second year in that grade. So when my mates are under 16s their first year in it, I'd only be about 15. But then we're playing guys that are in their last year in that grade. So
right.
Every second year we perform very well.
Yes.
Because the better ones have moved up and gone into senior reserves or whatever by then. So
right.
So we won we won a few rugby contests,
nice.
competitions every second year.
Yeah.
We done quite well. So yeah.
Fantastic. So where did the Rugby League come in? Where was the crossover, and how did that all begin for you?
There was a guy come down from Greymouth. His name was Brendan Daly, and he was working for the Hokitika Guardian, and obviously he was a Catholic lad. So he come down to play rugby for our St Mary's under 18 side.
Okay.
And he was quite a talented footballer, all does, and we all enjoyed a beer and all that,
Yeah.
And he said, well, why don't you come with me on Sunday? We'll go up and have a game of league, because he was going up, because he was played league before he come down to Hokitika. He played for the Maris under 18s up there.
Okay.
So I said, oh yeah, okay, that'd be all right. I was only 15 at that stage. So away we went this Sunday. We shot up there, and it was quite funny, because we were playing. We were the curtain raiser at Wynnum Park, and I remember this game pretty well actually. And so me and Brendan and another guy from Hokitika turned up, and we used to be in, we're red and white St Mary's rugby.
Right.
Red and white. So I'd had red shorts and red and white striped socks. I think they didn't even come out of my gear bag from the day before, So we rock on up there, and the only thing we all had in common that day was our Maris jersey. Yeah. We had black shorts, there was red shorts, there was everything, And we got out to Wynnum Park, and here's this great suburbs team that hadn't been beaten for a couple of years, So we walk out, and they're all in the manly colours.
All right.
And they looked smart, They were all, they had all the gears. So we're walking into, this is my first ever game, and we're walking into Wynnum Park. I don't know if you've ever been to Wynnum Park.
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah, so we'd get changed at Maris, which was in at the recreation ground.
Right.
And we'd get the car out there, and we're walking into the park, and they're yelling out, you know, Fitzgerald, you're mine, I've got you to Goldie. And I'm thinking, no, Jesus, what's going on here? They don't do this in rugby. So, yeah, well, that's it. So we went under the shed and had a bit of a wee pep talk, and then out we went. Well, we carved them up. Carved these blokes up. They hadn't been beaten in 2 years.
Oh, my God, what awesome.
So, you know, I was a wee bit nervous going out for a start. You know, I thought, shit, you know, what do we do here? And first touch of the ball, and it was she was just, this is for me.
Yeah.
I ended up scoring a try that day, and I kicked 4 goals, I think. The goal kicker he'd missed the first couple, and I just said to him, I think Does, because I was the goal kicker for the St Mary's rugby team, and
right.
Does goes, Stu can kick goals, so they give me the turn of kicking goals, and I slotted all of them.
How good.
So yeah, when we went back, and all of a sudden I was the talk of the league club that day, you know, because I've just turned up out of nowhere, and so I get back. I think I got the man of the match that day. It was quite good.
Wow. Goal kicker. You played front row?
No, I only played front row when I come over here.
Okay.
Yeah, I was always a second row.
Second row, so, you know, running a few lines out wide type of thing?
Oh, well, only straight lines.
Straight over the halfback.
Yeah, you know? There wasn't a great deal of footwork there. It wasn't until I sort of come over here later and over the years that, when I first played for Canterbury, I was actually played in the second row.
So in 1985, you were actually selected to play for South Island against the Kangaroos. So what was the journey to making that South Island side and then going on to this massive match?
I played once, you know, like after that first game. I just couldn't wait to get up there every Sunday after that, you know.
Okay.
So I was, like, you know, I was playing under 18s. I think I had still had another 3 years in that grade.
Yeah.
So we played that. I played that year. I think we ended up playing the West Coast under 16s that one day there. We would have had a bye because there was only the 5 clubs there.
Okay.
And we beat them by we give them a touch up, and I scored 4 tries this day. And,
Far out.
And the coach came up afterwards and he said, how old are you? Someone tells me that you're eligible to play for our 16-year-old team. And I went, I'm just 15, mate, you know.
Yeah.
He said, you better come along on Sunday. I didn't even go to this do a training. He said, you better come along next Sunday. We're playing Canterbury 16s over at Cobden. So
really?
I said, yeah, okay. So the boys, we played a rugby on Saturday, and we jumped in the car on Sunday to head up there. Well, they dropped me off, and they pissed off with me boots, didn't they?
Oh no! Oh no!
So I get there, and because there were no cell phones or anything in them days. You know, we'll be back when the game starts, type thing. You know, well, I didn't get back till after the game had started, so I never got to play till the second half.
Oh, you're kidding!
So that was all right. I definitely learned a lesson that day. It was, you know, I found it reasonably easy on the coast, but.
Okay.
Come up against this Canterbury 16-year-old side, and things weren't so easy.
Yeah.
She was quite tough going.
Yep.
They beat us, so that was all right. Just carried on, and the following year I playing both, because I used to play. I was playing rep rugby as well for West Coast, playing St Mary's on a Saturday, and then I'm coming up and doing my league on the Sunday. So. Every weekend was pretty full on.
You must have been sore by Monday.
Oh no, it was all right.
It
was good fun.
Okay.
And I had to do that right up till I was 18, because once you were 18, you had to make a decision.
Okay.
Either you had to play one or the other back in them days. So I had a couple of games, a couple of years in the 18s, and then I made the 1982 17-year-old Kiwis.
Okay.
So that was pretty good. And then 93, I was sort of floating around between reserve grade league, and I was playing reserve grade rugby down in Hokitika, and then 94, I had to make a decision on what I was going to do, so I went to league.
Okay.
So I got up there, and the Maris League Club was very, very strong. We were coached by a Kiwi. Tony Cole had just retired. He's one of our greatest ever Kiwis from over there. We still had Wayne Dwyer playing.
Okay.
And we had numerous South Island and Canterbury players in the team.
Right.
So, you used to walk into the Maris Club then, and it was just, the whole place was covered in photos of people in there that played for New Zealand. That it was,
wow.
We never had that down at St Mary's Club.
No.
There was no All Blacks on the wall down there. So 1984 was my first year of premiers for them.
Yeah.
And it was good. I slotted in there quite well. We had a great, we had Pete de Goldie, who come over here. He played for South Island and Coast, New Zealand universities. Wayne Dwyer, who played for the Kiwis. He was also he played for the New Zealand Police Force as well.
Okay.
They were our two front rowers.
Right.
I was in the second row for a guy called Dennis Kennedy. He was one of the hardest footballers. I was just so glad he was in our team.
Yeah.
So me and him were in the second row. We had old Johnny Gilbert at the back. So we had a pretty good forward. But I fitted in there quite nicely. I had all that experience around me, which sort of made it really pretty easy for me. And we weren't even the best team in town.
Yeah.
Like Renanga they were full of Kiwis and everything as well. So that year went really well for us. I made the West Coast touring side. We did a tour of we did Bay of Plenty and Waikato.
Right.
So I got named in that side, which was quite good.
Yeah.
I think because I think there were 6 other Maris guys in the team as well.
Right.
So it was pretty bloody good actually.
All your
even
mates.
though I was a young fellow, I had all my mates, and I felt quite comfortable around all the boys and that.
Nice.
And and because there was only 5 teams over there, you got on pretty well with all the teams, all the players and that. So we went away, played for the Bay. I played against the Bay in that game. Got a cork on the 5, so that sort of put me out for the next game against Waikato. We lost against the Bay, and they were a second division side then. I think we were still first division then, West Coast. So we got beat by the Bay, but then the boys beat Waikato, and then we come back. We come home from that, and then they played Canterbury. But I never made the side to play Canterbury that year. The home game, I got the away game. I played them in the away game that later in the year that year. So I'd had 2 or 3 games under my belt, or 2 games under my belt for Coast.
Right.
And so I put in a bit of an effort in '85. I put in. My mate lent me his brother's home gym, so I put that in the shed. And
nice.
I used to did a lot of running. I do 3 10k runs and 2 14k runs a week.
That's decent. That's really good.
On the weights and all that I used to do, and
far
out. So that was quite good. So started playing the footy. Made the Coast team again in '85, and Tony Cole. He was a South Island selector, and by this way, by this stage, I was, I wasn't back in Hokitika then. I was up in Greymouth on a Saturday night, and had me and a few of the other guys would go and have a beer on a Saturday night, even though we're playing on a Sunday. And the manager would come down and grab me and take me home.
Yeah.
He'd leave the rest of them there and he'd take me home.
Okay.
And I go, I want to go here, and he said, Butcher's pushing for you for the South Island team, We want to give you your best chance you can have. And I thought, yeah, okay. Yep. So I didn't mind. The other lads thought it was quite funny, and they were still sitting there having a few more. So yeah, we I got named in this. I was only 15. Only had 15 players in days.
Okay.
They only had the 2 reserves.
Right, that's right.
So I got named on the reserve bench for the first game, and my teammate from Maris, Wayne Dwyer, was up front, and he done his ankle or something, so that put him out for the rest of that year. So I think they put Paul Truscott went into the front row, and they put me into the second row, and
right.
So I played all of South Island that year, all the games. Played the final against Auckland in Greymouth.
Yes.
It was quite good. We drew 12-all.
That's right.
Got man of the match, and I got a Kiwi trial out of that.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that was quite good. So we after that we had to play the Australian side come out, and we'd unfortunately for us that year is the last time the Australians played South Island in the showgrounds, the South Island beat them.
Yeah.
So they didn't take us too lightly whatsoever. I think we got beaten 56-0.
Ouch.
Yeah. And it was only 3-point tries then too.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of tries.
And and to be fair, I think we held them to 0 for about the first 20, and then
they went nuts.
Old Wally and the boys all stepped up and just give it to us. And I think that me and our biggest player in our forward pack was probably Adrian Shelford.
Oh, wow. Well, rest in peace, mate.
Yeah, the great Adrian. And yes, me and Adrian were the second rowers for South Island.
Far out.
And they had 2 centres in Mel Meninga and Chris Close that made us look, our forwards look miniatures.
I know, Mel Meninga is massive.
So, they had old Peter Tunks and Blocker Roach and
wow.
I think it was Benny Elias was their front row. And
Stop it, wow.
It was in the second row. I think they had Brian Niebling and Peter Wynn and Wally Fullerton Smith was on the back.
Far out.
So they had a pretty fierce fair sort of a side.
Who was halfback that day? So you had Wally at 6?
The halfback was Desi Hasler.
Oh,
they had Hasler, Lewis, John Rebo one side, and they had Chicka Ferguson.
Chicka Ferguson, the Raiders fella.
Yeah.
Far out.
They started off with the 2 centres that I mentioned, and they started off with the fullback was Steve Eller from Parramatta.
From Parramatta. Oh, I had him on the podcast a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Great, man.
Yeah, he actually got injured.
Okay.
And they replaced him with Gary Jack.
Oh, just chucking another superstar.
Yeah.
It's crazy, eh?
I seen him coming at, this is before, back in the old days, you used to just go, you didn't really get, you got coached, but you didn't really get coached, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
You go out and you do some fitness and you tackle some bags and all that, but it wasn't really until I got to the NRL where they actually, they take you aside and actually show you what you should be doing.
Okay.
The rest of it, you pick up stuff. I shouldn't really say that because I've had a lot of good coaches in that, but most of the time they were the rep coaches, and you never did a lot of that stuff. A
lot of the people I've had on the podcast have said similar things, like at rep level, where you're more come up with a game plan and you do a bit of stuff and like tackling and do a few fitness drills, and then you go, lads, because you're at a rep level. It's like you're a pretty high standard player, so most people know what they're doing at that level. Yeah,
and just getting back to where I was going with that is because Gary Jack was coming down on the main side of the old Addington showgrounds that day, and he was coming at me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even, I know now that you got to keep moving. You can't just plant your feet and wait, and I just planted my feet waiting for him, and next thing he's gone right around me and he's scoring under the post,
See ya.
So, you learn things like that, as you go. So, so that was all good. And then we had the Kiwi trial. They had the tour to England and France that year.
Nice.
So I went up, played in the trial, which was all right. Tony Cole he coached it, so it was good. It was my first. Yeah. My first big year. I was with the South Island, obviously. That was a pretty amazing achievement. Playing alongside all those guys.
Absolutely.
And and then and most of them that we played Auckland, I think. So we virtually played Auckland again, but they just had the rest of New Zealand and a few internationals from England come back.
Wow.
And we played against Auckland. And then they picked the touring side to go to England and France. Sort of, I missed out on that, which was I was a little bit, I was hoping that I was going to get a shot. Like I'd played against the South, been in the South Island team all year, and I played in the trials, and all the guys out of that final, pretty much majority of them guys in the South Island Auckland final made that touring squad anyway.
Okay.
So when I missed out, I thought, oh, geez, that's a bit of a bugger,
Yeah.
But it wasn't all big doom and gloom. We got Glenn Gibb got him from the coast, so at least we got one guy from the coast got in there. Which was good, and and then because me and the girlfriend at the time we were planning on heading over Aussie for a bit, so
Okay.
So then I got a phone call from Tony Cole to say, he said, I hear you going over Aussie. I said, yeah, I'm going away have a wee bit of an OE.
Yeah, man.
And he said, oh, well, they told me, they just didn't put you in there because you're a bit young, and like they're seriously looking at you for next year, And I went, no, bugger that. I said, yeah. I said, no, we're out of here. So that was it. So we went to moved over to Aussie for a look around.
Right. So you ditched New Zealand to go over the ditch to Australia.
Yeah.
And you ended up at Wynnum-Manly. And so there's a pretty familiar captain and coach named Wally Lewis hanging around the club. So what was that experience like? How did you end up at Wynnum-Manly?
Well, good friends of my sister lived in Wynnum, just a wee suburb near Wynnum. And a good friend, he was Hokitika man too. He was living at Wynnum, so me and my younger brother come over, and the girlfriend obviously, who's now my wife. So we stayed with old Ron, and he was living at Wynnum.
Okay.
So it was quite handy. So he got us some work in that. We did a bit of work. He was a big boss in a scaffolding company, so we got a bit of part-time work with him. Had a gym a pub straight across the road, and the gym behind that.
Perfect.
So, yeah, it was, mate.
That's perfect.
So I'd do a bit of work. I'd go over to the gym and do a bit of weights and shit, and head over on the way home, call into the old Bay Terrace Hotel, I think it was called. So we're doing that for a couple of weeks, and I thought, oh shit, I should really be playing a bit of footy,
Yeah.
So I down the road there was this big league club.
Okay.
At Wynnum-Manly. So I thought, that looks pretty bloody good, But that was only their junior club.
Oh, right.
Oh, I was going to head on down there and see if I can get a game, but it was
under 8. So
so it was a junior club. I said, oh shit. So because I rang them up, and then they said, give us a number to ring the other club, which was up at Cougarai Oval. That's another big club just up the road. So I rang them up and said, I'm from New Zealand. I'd like to have a game of football and this and that. They said, oh yeah, well come along on a certain night and come to reception and we'll get it sorted. So I went into the Lee's club there and walked in the door. Went to the reception. I said, I'm Brent Stuart. I rang the other day about playing some football, and they said, oh yeah, just sit here and someone will be out to see you in a minute.
Okay.
Oh, okay then. So that was pretty good. So away we went, sat there for about 5 or 10 minutes, I suppose, and next thing, Wally Lewis turns up.
Oh, stop it. How good.
So Wally sits there and goes, you look a little bit familiar. And I said, oh yeah. I said, I played against you last year in the South Island Australia game. So yeah, and he's yakking away. He said, what's up? I said, oh, I'm just living down the road here, and I just thought I'd come down and see if I can get a start somewhere,
Yeah.
He said, yeah, no, that's all good. And he said, well, we'll go out. he said, I'll introduce you to the first grade team.
Okay.
And then you'll go away with the rest of them. And we went away on a road run, you know.
Yep.
So we go out there and out onto the Cougarai Oval, and his senior team, that Wynnum-Manly senior team that year, had six current Australian players in it, you know.
Wow.
So you had the likes of, you had you had Wally, Scott Lewis was there as well, Gene Miles, Greg Dowling, Colin Scott, Bobby Linder.
Far out.
They're all playing in the top grade.
Far out.
Another fella, Turner, is a Kiwi fella. Jesus, big unit too. So I go out there and they introduce me to all the team, and all these other guys are looking at me like I got the plague. Who's this guy? You know?
Who's this Kiwi?
And I just turned up out of nowhere. So they sent us out on a road run, so that was cool. I had to bloody slow down a bit because I didn't know where I was going, so I had to come in second that day.
Pretty fit though.
Yeah. So that was quite good, and then they took us aside. They took us all aside, and the Wynnum-Manly hadn't had a good 21s team for quite a long time.
Okay. So
everyone that was eligible for 21s come out of reserve grade and the top grade and play 21s.
Okay.
And you wouldn't have been any of them in the top grade anyway because it was such a star-studded side. So that was my first ever experience of trials.
Crazy.
Yeah. So we went and played West this day, and I think we had 17 players.
Yeah.
It was about 35 degrees this trial. We went out and we battled away the first 40 minutes, and we were, West was been the top side there for a number of years in that grade. And we come in at half time and she was hot.
Yeah.
Have a drink, freshen up a bit and get back out. Well, they put a whole new team out.
Oh, what?
A whole new, and I thought, Jesus, this is a bit unfair. So we had to battle away. They kicked their ass in the second half. I thought, so this is what it's all about, you know. So then got selected in the start-on team for the 21s.
Okay.
We went very, very well. I don't think we lost a game that year. I didn't stay around that long, to be honest.
Wow.
So they went really well. And Wally's team won as well, so we won the 21s and the top grade.
Wow.
But after about must have been about 4 or 5 weeks into this, and me and my brother, we'd been down and seen my sister down in Nowra, and she was in a caravan park because they move around with the job that my brother-in-law was doing.
Okay.
So they were somewhere different state all the time.
Oh, right.
So we went down there, and the guy who owned this caravan park was he used to played prop for Waikato. He was a Kiwi fella, and he said to us, if you ever want to come down here, I'll give you free rent if you want to come and play rugby for us, you know.
Sweet.
Yeah, so we sort of, cheers, mate. So we went back, and we were both working this shitty job at this tannery.
Yeah.
And we were sort of taking days off. Having turns of taking days off, you know. And I went to work this day, and the boss came along and said, look here, Brent, he said, you and Carl are having a bit of time off, too much time off, mate, you know. And I said, okay, mate. I said, well, we don't really like the job, that's why. So I said, tell you what, I'll finish up. I've had enough. I'm done. I'm going to leave the job.
Yep.
And he said, yep. And he said, what about Carl? And I said, yeah, Carl's quitting too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had to go home and tell Carl that I just quit his job for him.
Oh, what a great fella.
So no, he was quite happy about it. He said, "Oh, it's safe to be doing it. Yeah, didn't have to do it." So we decided, we'll go down and take up this fella, down and play some rugby. So,
okay.
So we shot down to Nowra, which is about an hour and a half south of Sydney. I think I played first week. I played reserve grade. We both played reserve grade. Mm-hmm. Played number 8. Next week, Carl was still in reserve grade. I was number 8 in the top team. So played another 3 weeks in the top team, and that's when this opportunity to go to Darwin popped up.
Okay.
So my brother-in-law, I was on because they were down. They were building one of those big parachuting thing for the army.
Okay.
At Jarvis Bay.
Far out.
So they had a big pole with a caravan on the top, and these, they practice jumping out of the planes on it.
Right.
So it was
That's
just like
exciting.
a big flying fox type thing it was.
Cool.
So they'd finished that, and then they had this big job to do in Darwin, the Channel Island power station.
Okay.
So the company had problems with the labourers up there before.
Yep.
So Peter, the old brother-in-law, said, "Oh, you and Carl want to come up? We'll give you the job, you know."
Yep.
So sorry, right,
Let's do it.
Well, let's get up there, you know. So we've never been to Darwin. That's what we were here for. We were we were cruising around, wanted to see as much as we could.
Awesome.
So off we went. 4 days driving to get up there.
That's a long day.
Yeah, no, they were big
drive,
days. They were big days, mate. They would have been 14-hour days driving.
Wow, that's a long time.
So we'd pull up and we'd pitch the tent, and me and Carl would go down to the pub.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it was funny. And we'd come back and we'd be cooking on the barbecue. I remember because we went to I think our first night we stayed at Burke, and then we stayed at Blackwell somewhere out east, way in the middle of Queensland, and then we stayed at this place called Commonwealth, I think, and it's right on the border of Northern Territory and Queensland.
Okay.
So, and the Crocodile Dundee movie had just come out that year
mate,
too, you know.
One of my all-time favourites.
I know, mine
it's amazing.
too.
I love it.
And I still remember it today. And we pulled up down at this place. It was just like a roadhouse and a pub and a couple of other buildings. And we pitched there. We couldn't even, had a bit of trouble trying to pitch the tents because the dirt was like concrete.
Oh my God.
So we finally got it all done. So then me and Carl decided we'll go down and have a few beers. Well, bugger me. Walk into this place and there's a big stuffed crocodile across the bar. And there's a couple of old diggers sitting in there. Shit, I thought, far out, we've stepped into this movie.
Where was Donk?
Yeah, that was it, mate, yeah. So that was it was a good 4 days. You know, we drove straight through all around the outback. It was quite good, and we got to Darwin and got a house, and we started work the following Monday at the Channel Island. And the boss, very good friends of Daryl Broman,
yes.
Mad Penrith man.
Yeah.
So he jacked us up to play in a touch competition there.
Okay.
And so he'd gone in and sorted it out. He'd sorted once we first got there pretty much. And because we had a few guys work with us well from work, labourers and that from Victoria.
Right.
They were all Aussie rules dudes.
Oh, right.
They were a good bunch, all around the same age as me and Carl. There's about half a dozen of us.
Okay.
So he put us in this touch competition.
Yep.
So when we got there, he'd obviously already told the guy who was running the touch competition that because he was with the North Sydney the Sharks, the Northern Suburbs Sharks in Darwin.
Okay.
And so he come up to me when we first went down to the touch, and he said, "Oh, because the boss knew that I was a junior Kiwi and a 17-year-old Kiwi and stuff, you know."
Yeah.
So he told this bloke. So he said, "Oh, you play a bit of league, do you?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I have a bit of a run around there." He said, "Oh,
yeah.
you want to come and play for the Northern Suburbs Sharks?" And I said, "Oh, yeah."
Awesome.
He said, "I coach the C grade." And I went, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, that sounds right." I said, "Well, I can't come to training."
Yeah.
I said, "Because we don't get home till after 6 every night, you know, and
Right.
and I've got no car or nothing, so I can't get all the way over here and there." He said, "Oh no, we're only C grade. We're right."
Yep.
So yeah, okay, good as gold. He said, "I'll come around and pick you up on Sunday." So he come around, picked us up, and away we went down there. Well, Richardson Park is an unbelievable place.
Okay.
I just seen some things on it the other day. It was quite sad. It was on because they've got a new big stadium there up in Darwin now, you know.
Right.
And there was on Facebook there the old Richardson Park site, which it was a bit sad seeing it the way it was. But in the day we used to get there, and there were 6 clubs up there. Okay. And every club had their own changing sheds around the ground.
Right.
They had a big stand here, and one end was our changing shed. There's 2 other clubs on the other side. There's Souths are up the top, and there's 2 clubs underneath the main grandstand.
Right.
Yeah. So and you get there, and it cost you a couple of dollars to get into the ground.
Yep.
If you didn't pay, you didn't play. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had a few guys, like a few guys used to jump the fence and then they'd be suspended for that day. So you got your team on Thursday wasn't always the one you played in with on Sunday. But the way they worked it up there, they have the six rugby league clubs. So if we played on a Sunday, the 2 C grade teams would play first. So there'd be 2 C grade games, 2 B grade games, and then 2 Prem games.
Right.
So you start at midday, and then the Monday night the other 2 clubs would play the round. So my first day I got there, the first game, C grade. We were kicking off at 12.
Yeah.
35 degrees heat.
Oh, again.
But they're only 35-minute halves.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind buggers.
Yeah.
So they threw me up. They actually threw me in the front row.
Yeah.
So you want to play in the front row? I said, yeah, I don't care, mate.
Yeah.
So we went out there, and this side hadn't been going that well. I scored 3 tries for them that day.
Yeah.
And we won.
Nice.
We cleaned them up, and and that was it. So they said, next thing they come up, you want to play in the Bs? I said, no, I'm all right.
This is fun.
I'm going to have a few beers with the boys,
Yep.
We've just been running around for 70 minutes in the 35 degrees heat. I'm not too keen on going around again.
Yeah.
And I got to meet the boys in that team. It was bloody good, and because we just sat down outside our changing shed there and in that corner and watched football for the rest of the day.
Sipping a few cold ones.
A few coldies. They have a big rubbish tin there, and and they just keeps back and forwards up to the bar at the end of the ground, and it's because the bar was actually in part of the ground. So,
how good.
So so I carried on playing. Then I went down the next week, same thing. I don't know who we played. It might have been RSL, I think. And they were quite a big side, a lot of big Thursday Islanders and all that. And there's people from every nationality playing league up there. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So we played them, and once again I'd scored a hat trick again.
Far out.
But like to put it in, like bloody 6 months earlier I was playing. The best team in the world.
You played the Kangaroos.
Played the Kangaroos.
So they're playing C grade.
Now I'm playing C grade in Darwin. So there was a hell of a step back.
Yeah.
So the B said, you want to sit on the bench for us? I said, yeah, righty,
Yeah.
So I sat on the bench I was only on there for 5 minutes, and then they banged me straight out again.
You're on Stuart.
Yeah, you're up, and out I go, and then the A grade come there. You want to sit on the bench for us? So I done that.
Yeah.
The next day I was absolutely rooted, I was stuffed, I was playing in that heat all of 3 games. So I went down the following week, and they come up, the B come up again, and the A. So I said to the A's coach, I said, I'll be playing C grade, and I'll sit on the bench for A graders. I'm not playing Bs again.
Yep.
I said, that's rubbish.
Yep.
So no, they were quite happy with that.
Cool.
So yeah, we'd had a good year, and we'd actually come from down the bottom, and we were starting to move up the table a bit, and then my birthday was coming up, so my 21st birthday. So,
right.
So I said to the coach, I said, it's my 21st birthday this Saturday night. He said, yeah, you can't take any of the players. So it's all right, mate, it's all right. So I invited the coach, and because on the Sunday we had, if we'd beaten this team, we're in the playoffs.
Right.
If we lose, we've got to go and play the same team again.
Okay. On
the following Thursday night, So he said, yeah. So I had my 21st, and he come along, and all the guys from work and the wife and my sister and my brother-in-law were all there. We had a good old night, and right through the night we were going, and and the next morning we got up, and the boys from Victoria were still hooking in, We still had plenty of this 18-gallon keg to drink. And,
oh my God!
So I didn't really want to mention this, but I probably will now that I've started it, because it was the worst thing I ever done. I regret it now, and I wish I never did do it. But I thought, bugger that football today. Let's get on it.
Oh, no.
So we got on it, and the coach came around. He said, "I'll be back to pick you up later on." I said, "Yeah, rightio, mate, rightio." So we hooked in, and Sundays up in Darwin were all good in him because he's a wild old joint, old Darwin. And they had the strippers down at the Nightcliff Hotel on a Sunday at lunchtime. So we'd had a few, and we was just starting to just get back into that where we were the night before, and next thing you know, we're at the Nightcliff Hotel. Well, I missed that game, and I thought, I felt so bad because they got beat.
Yeah,
they got beaten, and I thought, shit, I'm not going to be very popular here.
No.
But yeah, no, the coach came, "No, don't worry about it, mate. It's all good. We've got another chance on Thursday."
Okay.
I said, "Oh, okay then." So we went back out on that Thursday, and the team that we were playing, their top sides had been knocked out.
Okay.
So they'd stacked put a few of their Bs into their C grade team.
Okay.
And they just beat us and they knocked us out.
Oh no!
Yeah, so we never got to play, but we went all right. Like we got it close enough to have a crack at it.
Yep.
It was probably I still feel pretty stink about it to this day. But and I'm thinking, these guys won't want me back in this club. But sure enough, I get down there, and because the top team, our A team, was in the playoffs.
Okay.
So they put me straight into their starting team after that.
Oh right.
Yeah. So I'd gone from letting the boys down into the C grade and throwing me into the A grade team.
They must have liked you.
Yeah. So just because I was playing a bit of A grade every week. Like I was sitting on the bench for them every week. I couldn't train. That was all. So that was all good, and so that was pretty much that year done and dusted, and. So we come home for Christmas, and went back to Aussie in January.
Yes.
To go again.
Yep.
So we were up in North Queensland, up in Bowen. We were going to go up there and pick some tomatoes.
Okay.
And I sat there and I was sitting in this hotel room, and I thought, I don't know about picking tomatoes.
Back-breaking work, mate.
So I rang up one of the boys from Darwin, one of the teammates, and I said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Anything going up there?" And I said, "Yeah, get up here, Yep. So away we went. We went back. So this time round, as soon as I got up there, I was pretty much put into the Darwin rep team.
Okay.
I hadn't even played a game.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I was in the training squad. Well, obviously, people obviously said that I've been up there the year before. And
okay.
So the coach of the Darwin team then was a guy called Brian Norton. He used to coach the North Sydney Bears.
Right.
Yeah, he's quite a legendary coach over there, Chicka.
Right.
So yeah, I get there, and his mate was running the. He was the manager of the Parramatta Hotel, which was quite a popular place. Their bistro and all that was quite a popular place in Darwin, and so I got a job there, security.
Oh yeah, that'll suit you.
So picking
tomatoes.
So that worked out quite good, So then I could go to training and obviously the Darwin training, because then I got put into the Darwin team. We played Parramatta.
Really?
In 1987. They won it in 86.
They did, so that's all right.
So
pretty decent side.
We played them the following year.
Far out.
But we got 3 invitation players come to play for us. Steve Larder, I think he was from Illawarra.
Okay.
We also had Les Davidson.
Les Davidson, gun.
And we had, he's from South Sydney. He's the recruitment man there at the moment. Crikey, I was just thinking about his name the other day. Mark Allison, is it?
I know the name.
Mark Allison, I think it is, yeah. So Lee and Les were up front.
Mate, how good.
We're up front against old Stan Jerd and Lee Beater and Budden, wasn't it? Budden was that.
Budden,
yeah. The front row.
Yeah.
It was great. All I want to do was beat the shit out of Les. dream run all day. We got beaten 40-18 in the end, but it wasn't too bad considering like
the caliber of people
who we're up against. So that was quite an experience, and I remember going to the casino with them afterwards, and I was with old Chicker and John Money was coaching.
Oh yeah, he was Parramatta coach.
He was coaching Parramatta then, and we were sitting there yakking, and all this team, they're all sitting around in this bar we're in at the casino, and he just said, "Oh, that fella there, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one." He said, "They're all gone." I said, "What do you mean they're gone?" He said, "I don't want them anymore. They're not." I said, "Where are they going to go?" He said, "Well, I don't care."
Far out.
And I went, "Oh shit! So this is what professional football's all about, if you don't cut the mustard, you're gone,
Yep.
So that was my first, first look at what, playing in the NRL was going to be all about.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the idea of just see you later, don't bother coming back sort of thing. But it's just the way it is, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. So that was me Darwin days. It was quite good.
Amazing. So then you found yourself flying back home to New Zealand, back to the coast.
Back to the coast.
88 and 89.
Yeah.
You're named captain of the West Coast team.
Yeah.
How special was that to be captain of where you're from and lead the team around?
It was a real. I didn't believe it for a start, because I'd come back to my beloved Maris team.
Love you, Maris.
And all the boys are still there, and we were going pretty good. I had a good pre-season, like Johnny Hibbs, you see that guy in the NRL now complaining about doing extras at training and that, well, he wouldn't have liked old Hibbsy. Old Hibbsy would have us all spewing and everything.
I love those stories.
Mate,
great.
he used to train the shit out of us. But it was good, and so we, I got off, like he put you on a good grounding for the rest of what's coming up,
Yeah.
So so then they named the coast side, and Don Monk was the coach then, the great Don Monk, and he put me in as captain.
Okay.
And I didn't even know. He didn't even speak to me about it or anything. It was just come up in the paper, and I'm thinking, mate, this got to be a mistake. Because we had Wayne Dwyer in that side. There was Boyd Kelly. They were both established South Island, and Wayne was a Kiwi.
Yep.
Troy Forsyth. He was a very prominent man in the rugby over there. Him and Gavin Forsyth had both come over to the league. So I was quite shocked to be honest to get the role, but obviously Don Monk had a bit of faith in me.
Yep.
And we had a great year. I think we only lost the one game that year against Queensland Country.
Wow.
Out of the 5 games.
That's good.
So but we had a good team. We had a bloody good team. We had old Wayne Dwyer was in the front, and Brian Atkinson, and we had big Kevin Kelly, Smacker Stanton, and Graham Dumelow. They were the front rowers, and there was me and Troy Forsyth. Me and Gavin Forsyth was the second row, and Troy was at the back.
Yep.
So we had a forward pack that could probably match anything in the country.
Yeah.
To be honest. So that was we had a really good year, and that went through that year unbeaten. We won the grand final that year, the Maris boys.
How good.
So it was good. It was a really good year.
Yeah.
Everything was just going swell. I got another Kiwi trial that year.
Yep.
I think it was away. Was that 88? I think that was when Brendan made the Kiwis in 88. Was that when they had when he had the Australians out here at Kiwi too? The baby face assassin, was that 88?
I'm not 100% certain, but it could have been.
I think it might have been 88, because I trialled in that team with Brendan. I remember him when he got picked, I think he also got picked up by
so when he went over to the Magpies.
Western Suburbs that year too. Yeah, pretty certain it was 88.
Like 88, 89.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So we went up with I think there was me and Russell Tudor and Brendan Tudor and Neville Woodham from the South Island.
Far out.
That one. And so that was quite good. And I think me and Russell made the New Zealand presidents that year as well. We played Australia.
Okay.
So that was all right. Not that I didn't actually get on the park. I was only the two reserves. So I remember it quite. Like I was pretty pissed off really because Bob Bailey was coaching the side, and I don't know. He mustn't have liked coasters for some reason.
Okay.
He just seemed to pick on me the whole time.
Yeah.
And then when we played. I remember when we played the Australian side, he took off a second rower and put an Auckland front rower on, and I was a reserve second rower. So,
unbelievable.
Yeah, so I was a wee bit filthy about that.
I bet you would be.
But that was football. Actually, when I got back to the coast, I felt like I had me jersey there, the playing jersey that I never used. I threw it on the bin. I said, stuff this. It wasn't...
No sour grapes at all.
No, there was actually, because, I remember Kelly Shelford one day at training, he said, what did you do to him? I said, I don't know, I've only just met the guy,
Yeah.
I don't know if he was just like that to most people, because I think I remember the first thing he said to me, because I was wearing a knee support, and he says, if you were injured, you shouldn't have bothered coming, and I thought,
really?
That's a bit tough.
So if you don't play through injuries, generally you lose your spot in the team.
Yeah, well, I couldn't really work it out because there was two Auckland guys that didn't train because they had injuries from the week before.
Okay.
And he's putting that on me, So,
yeah.
So when I got home from, I thought, back at that, stuff him. I was a wee bit annoyed with it, so that was all right. So I just carried on, The next year, '89. Once again, the club football's going good with Marist.
Yep.
Our coast side was going Ghostbusters, mate. We were
Great
going really good, mate.
Yep.
And we'd our first outing was against Frank's super team,
Canterbury.
Canterbury team. He came out. He had all the young fellas in. He had Logan and all them young. They were all coming to make their mark.
Yep.
And we touched them up.
How good.
Touched them up, mate. Yeah, I think we've been about... I can't remember what the score was. It was a reasonably good score. So that was all right. And then we won every game that year. Out of the 5 games that we played, I got man of the match 4 of them.
Out.
And the only game I didn't get the man of the match was against Southland, and I scored 4 tries in that one.
Did not get man of the match.
So I was just one of those years, you just everything just went, just
clicked,
And I remember, and then I got that Kiwi trial that year too. I think we went up and played Auckland again, and we actually beat Auckland up there.
Wow. That's impressive.
I think Frank was out. Frank coached us that one.
Okay.
Yeah, we beat Auckland. So that was quite good. And scored a try in that one. And next thing I was the highest provincial try scorer in the country that year. 11 tries that year.
Playing in the front row.
No,
second back row. Sorry, back row.
Yeah, second row. Yeah. So yeah.
Far out, man. Machine.
Oh,
what a machine.
It was just a good side, and that like I was that West Coast team them 2 years. It was just everything just gelled really good, and everyone done their job, and it just made things so much easier, So really, like when you got to credit the people around you to to help to get to these places, So
sure.
So then that was another. '89 was another year where there was Kiwi toured England and France again.
Okay.
And I thought, this time I've got to be, I've got to give a go.
In with a shout, surely.
For a go here, and another Kiwi trial, and that was that. Missed out again.
Missed out.
So I was just thought, oh man, what have I got to do here? But I just sort of, by this stage I was, like you guess getting used to set knockbacks and it didn't really, I wasn't really that concerned about it. I was more disappointed the first time, where I should have probably been more disappointed this time because I was twice the footballer the second time round than the first time round.
Okay.
But that was all right. Just sort of had a few offers come in to go and play elsewhere. So which I had, I sat down and I had an opportunity to go to France. Had an opportunity to go to Randwick and Wellington or Addington and Christchurch. So,
they're pretty decent offers.
Yeah, I was thinking that I was pretty keen to go to France, but then I thought, like it's a long way away, and it's over the other side of the world, and it probably wouldn't help me cause of making a New Zealand team.
Okay.
You'd be out a
bit far away.
Yeah. And they weren't, they weren't. It wasn't like English.
No, it's not like you're playing in the Super League or the UK comp back then.
Yeah, so I thought, oh well, so I put them in a hat and I picked one out and I got Addington.
Really? You put them in a hat and pulled one out? Yeah. That's how you chose your club?
Yeah, put one in. So
I love it. That's so good.
Addington was probably the best one anyway. Like I would like to go to Wellington,
bit windy up there.
Yeah, that was the other thing, and at least we're in Christchurch, it was only 3 hours and I can whip over home and see the boys whenever I want, and
for sure.
So yeah, picked Addington. So I come over here in 1990 was when I started Addington. Yeah.
Right, you guys, you made a grand final against the Hornby Panthers that year.
Yeah.
How did that go down?
That was pretty good. Like that was my first year at because over on the coast, obviously we didn't have trials or anything like that. We only had 17 players.
You're lucky to put a team out.
Yeah. And like I said earlier on, the likes of I remember when Tony Cole retired, he filled in a couple of times for us, because when we had injuries and that,
Yeah.
But I don't recall the boys getting too many injuries, all the time I played down there. And even our manager would fill in every now and again if need be. But it might sound funny, but they were very, very, very. They're both West Coast and international players. Well, one of them was one of them. Like Butch played 33 tests for New Zealand.
Wow.
New Zealand. So that wasn't so bad, So I get to Addington and. There's about 60 odd guys trialling out for one team.
Really? Those were the days.
Mate, I'm thinking, this is going to be a bit tougher than I thought, But it wasn't saying, and because Addington that year, they bought a lot of players. And Ricky Counts had got him down from Auckland as well.
Nice.
I'd come over from the coast. They had some other guys from around the town come over. So, we had a pretty good side. Actually, we had a really good side. I think we went through. I think we may have only lost one game during the season. Nice. And I think we'd played Hornby leading up to that. I think it was only the score was about 6-0, and then we'd played Horswell. The score lines were only about. There was not much. The score wouldn't be much over 10. They were just real
hard, brutal games.
Hard games, mate. And they were like Horswell had a mighty team then. Hornby had a great team then, and we had a bloody good team too, So here we got to that final, and Hornby just blew us off the park.
Really?
Yeah, they were just Chukarona just carved us up the middle all day. It was something I didn't really expect before we went out there.
Okay.
That's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Hornby, that's why they've won so many grand finals, mate. They just seem to know how to. Well, they haven't won a lot in recent times, but
the wood's got the wood on them lately.
Got them there, yeah. But I think the last time was that they must be close to 30 30 grand finals they've won now, I think.
Wow.
I could be wrong. I think it would be getting up around there. So yeah, we lost that, which was a shame, and then we had to go. We had to go to play Maris on the West Coast.
Okay.
And
back to your old stomping ground.
the Lion Red Cup, mate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that was a real disappointment for me, because even though we'd won, we'd gone over there, and like I'm playing the team that I'd left the year before, and they'd won that grand final. The rest, I don't know. It was just something that the boys just took it a wee bit light.
Yeah.
They were just thinking we're over there on a bit of a break, a bit of a holiday, a trip away. We left it to the last minute. We scored in the dying minutes of the game to actually beat them.
Really?
And like it was. And I've seen things, like some of the players, the effort that some of them put in was pretty bloody poor, which was a little bit disappointing, really. But we learned our lesson. We went over there. We just scraped in against Marist, and the following week we had Upper Hutt down here, and they give us a hiding. So
really? Far out.
Yeah. So we probably got what we deserved.
Okay.
So we should have just put the old foot to the floor and gone over there and done a job, and just sort of got that momentum going for the Upper Hutt game. But I think everyone it just looked like we just didn't want to play anymore. We just had enough.
End of the season, mate.
End of the season, yeah.
Just quickly, in that grand final against Hornby, did you score 2 tries?
Yeah,
even though you got flogged, but 2 tries, man.
Yeah.
You're a try scoring machine.
Yeah, I was back in them days. Well, I did get 2 tries. I didn't want to mention that since I'd.
I brought it up.
Yeah. No. Well, actually, like I said before, here I got the 11 tries for the representative tries. So it's at 89. Well, I scored 32 for the Maris Club actually.
That's
over there as well,
incredible.
Yeah. So there was one day. I wasn't supposed to be playing, and because Coast had a game on the Sunday, and the local football was on the Saturday this weekend. So and we were short. Maris was short, and
okay.
And I think because I was the Coast captain at the time, I think I got a wee bit of, they let me away for a wee bit.
Right.
So, because none of the other guys were allowed to play for the clubs. So,
right.
So I was only allowed to go down and sit on the bench for last resort type thing.
Right.
Because we were that short, and they put me on for the second half on the wing. Put me out on the wing.
No way.
And there was we're playing Suburbs down at Suburbs ground, and this little winger in front of me, they called him Whitebait.
Yeah. Great nickname.
I can remember it like it was yesterday, and he's just a little wee skinny white kid there. And come on at half time, and I've run over him 4 times and scored 4 tries.
Sorry, Whitebait.
Yeah. And to be fair, like we nearly racked up 100 points that day, so it wasn't that.
They didn't really need you.
No, they didn't. So I didn't really get any injuries. So it was out of it. But I don't really bring that up about that the 2 tries in that grand final very often, because the prize was winning it, and losing it was it was a bit of a shame really, because. We weren't the same side after that. We lost a lot of players after that.
Yeah, was Mike Doreen in the side that day?
Yeah, Mike was there.
Great player, old buzzer.
Yeah. So So then, we at the end of that year, the coach had gone. A number of the players had gone. Okay,
was that like the start of the downhill slide for Addington?
It was a wee bit. We had a lot of good players in the club, younger players coming through. We had me and Mike were the only 2 Canterbury players that were in the club, like at the senior level. Yeah. At that stage, we had young Jason Duff was coming up.
I know the name.
He was coming up, young Duffer. Old Shane Goumet and Glenn Fisher. Adam Fisher, all the Fisher boys, all played. So we still had and Lance Setu played for us.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and so we still had quite a good side, you know.
Yeah.
But we lost a lot of experience in the big guns. We lost the big guns. So
Yeah.
And Malcolm Aldridge, he was, you know, like he was one of our top players. Old Baldrick, you know, every week you got the same out of him every week, mate. So yeah, there's no, you know, we weren't lacking in enthusiasm and you know, like in effort and everything. We were just a little bit, we just outgunned by more experience and players, you know. But you know, like we held our own. We went out every week, and I'm pretty certain the teams we played would, you know, they would have known they were in the game, regardless if they won or not. But we tried, we carried on trying, and it was a shame really because I'd left when the club had obviously fallen over. But you know, like, the likes of old Mike Doreen and Malcolm Aldridge and them guys, you know, they stuck there till the end, you know. So you know, it was a credit to them guys for doing that.
Such a shame they're not around anymore, like, you know, in the top grade. You know, it's really
it is.
A shame.
It is a bit, mate. Yeah, because they were a force once, the old Maggies.
Yeah.
So.
Any chance they'll ever revive, get back up there?
I wouldn't think so. The way the league's going now, you know, there needs to be something done. You know.
Yeah, we need to grow the game again down here.
Yeah, we've got to. You know, like they're trying to rebuild on the coast. It's going to be a long, hard struggle for them. They need all the help they can get, you know, and I think if, you know, like, it sounds a wee bit stupid thing to say, but this is how it all started going downhill on the coast, you know. And one team folds, and then all of a sudden another one, and we're seeing that here in Christchurch now.
You're going to 5 teams now?
Yeah, 5 teams. So, you know, like, you know, to be fair, it probably won't happen, but it just reminds me of, you know, this is how it started on the coast, you know. Just because I remember, I think it was the Marist team in 1990, that one that Addington played. They won that grand final that year, and they couldn't field a team at all the following year. After winning the grand final. So I think but that come down to, I think a lot of the guys in that side moved away for employment. You know, moved to Australia and stuff like that. Which is a shame, because when the sort of the forestry and the coal mining and that over on the coast come to a bit of an end, it really did reap havoc on all the sports, you know, the rugby and the league and everything, you know.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people.
Power in numbers, mate. You need numbers.
That's it. You know, like, and I sit there and, you know, I think back now, like when I played up in Greymouth, you know, like there was 5 league teams in Greymouth and around that area.
Yeah.
And 5 rugby sides. You know, I think the population was only about 11,000 people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know.
And they had teams in just about every grade.
Yeah.
You know, and and now I think there's down in Hokitika had 3 senior rugby teams and a senior reserve side down there. I think now they've only got the 2 teams there now.
Yeah.
Greymouth is not much better. So it's a worry. It's a worry.
No, we need to get the next generation off their iPads and out playing sport. That's what we need.
Yeah, well, you know, like going back to when, you know, like when I was playing for St Mary's, you know, like we were speaking earlier on.
Yeah.
Well, those guys there in that under 18 side, for every age group we went up, we played numerous sports together.
Yes.
So we would play. We would go to Greymouth on a Monday night and play volleyball.
Yeah.
Tuesday night was basketball back in Hokitika. We used to play soccer on a Sunday.
Yep.
And then rugby on a Saturday.
That's exactly my point. Yeah. That's what you did for fun back then.
That's what we did.
Everyone played sport.
So, you know, like my good old mate Mickey Myers, his parents had one of those old human camper vans.
Yeah. And
that was our team bus. So he used to go he used to throw us all in and away we'd go. It was good old days.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So 1990, you were selected to play for Canterbury. You're switching over, playing for the red, black and white. Yeah. And how special was it? Or were you a little conflicted being a coast boy?
Oh no, it was all right. That's what I come over here for.
Okay.
You know, after '89, missing out over there, I had to make a decision. Coast was second division province then.
Okay.
I'd had 3 Kiwi trials at that stage, so I just had to move on. You know, I had to go and try and test the water somewhere else. So, so when I come over here, I think Frank may have had a wee bit to do with the Addington thing as well. Because Lex Clark was the Addington coach then, and he just turned up one day. I was working in a venison plant in Hokitika, and he turned up and wanted to know if I wanted to come over and that. I think Frank might have. I'm not 100% sure, but I have heard whispers that Frank had got in his ear and go over and get him over to play for
good old Frank.
But see, and ever since then, I've been getting a lot of the Maris boys over here have been giving me shit ever since because I never went to Maris, you know. I said, well, Maris never approached me to come and play for him or anything, you know. Addington, Lex come over, he come to see me at work, he'd go around and see me old lady at home, and and it was a good fella, old Lex, you know.
Yep.
He was a coach well before his time, you know.
Right.
Like he would have been. He was one of those, you know, like I said earlier on, you know, you didn't really get coached all these little bits. Lex was one of those guys who'd done that sort of stuff, you know.
Right.
He was, he was definitely a coach before his time, and you know, like he would have probably been a very good. He coached junior Kiwis and all that sort of stuff.
So he liked the details, you know. He would have loved all the video footage and studying everything.
Everything like that was, and see, you know, I don't think any of us had come across that before. So,
just get out there and smash blokes, all right?
That was it, you know. Let's go out there and have a crack and see where we go. So.
Old school, yeah. So you came up against Wellington in your first match for Canterbury, but unfortunately you got pretty badly injured. So what happened there, and how difficult was that for you? Or like, what did you have to do to bounce back and get back into that Canterbury side for '91?
It's just one of those things that I was actually just talking to Wayne Wallace about that yesterday. Actually, we were talking about that game.
Yeah.
We were. It was a shitty old Tuesday night at the Hut Rec. We got up there and pissed down rain the whole time, and I just popped my AC joint in the shoulder. It was quite a bad one.
Yep.
Which was that was a 6-week recovery.
Yep.
So that was pretty much me done. But it wasn't too bad because I didn't miss a great deal of football because Canterbury were playing a lot of those weeks and that, you know. So you know, I missed a bit of club stuff, but it was all right once it all come good and that, and we got back into it. Addington, we were going good.
Yep.
And then I think we ended up playing Queensland Country at the end of the year, so I've got another crack.
Oh, cool. So
I think I got two games for Canterbury that year. That was pretty good. 1990 was after all that momentum I had going into coming over here, and then that bit of a setback.
Yeah.
You know, and it's right in that time of the where all your rec footballs was getting played and teams are getting selected and that. So it was just a bit of bad timing, but that's the nature of rugby league or in any sport. You know, injuries they're always going to play a part in it, and they certainly did that year. But that was all right. I had the club, the Addington club, actually. They paid me membership at the Les Mills every year, which was quite good. So I had pretty good training facilities and that. Instead of back over on the coast, I just had a little setup out in my mum's garage.
And a pub.
And a pub,
That's part of the training.
Did all the curls down the pub.
Exactly. Those pints get pretty heavy after a dozen.
They do. Had to start going to courts.
Awesome. So was it 1991? You had a big win over Auckland, which you played in a very stacked Canterbury side. How special was it for you to get that big win over Auckland for Canterbury?
No, it was all right. Like Auckland's always a surprise. That's the one you want.
Yeah, man.
And like I said, we'd beaten them in a Kiwi trial team. Had beaten them, so on Carlaw Park.
Oh,
I've never
hello
beat,
turf of Carlaw Park.
I never beaten them on Carlaw Park. In the provincial side, but I beat them with that. We beat them that day. So when in '91 was another good year. It's funny how that all panned out because with the Addington side of things, we got a new coach, Phil Prescott, coming to coach us that year.
Yeah.
And I had nothing but respect for Phil after that. I never knew him until he was come along to coach us.
Okay.
I just liked what he brought. He brought to the team. We didn't go that flash, but he definitely he got the best out of me. 91 was another year like 89. My own personal game was going good.
Yes. Injury
free, playing Canterbury all our Canterbury games.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And to beat Auckland,
it's pretty special, eh?
It is pretty special, and so that was bloody outstanding. And the end of that season was quite good because we had made a Kiwi trial again.
Yes.
Got in the Kiwi trials. I was looking at this because I'd gone through. I was going to Google all these dates and that, but I come up with a better solution yesterday. I just got all my team photos. So I just get me dates and that sorted, and I was looking at that 91 year and their Canterbury team, and then Howie Tamati was a New Zealand residence, president's coach there.
Yep.
And Howie coached me. I remember when I made the under-17 Kiwis, because Howie was good friends with Tony Cole.
Right.
And because I was only South Islander in the team.
Yep.
And he we went out for dinner that night. Him and with Bruce Gall. Was it Bruce Gall? Bruce Gall, I think it was. And the fellow Gall, I think it was Bruce Gall. And the other guy from there, Graham West.
Okay.
The Taranaki fellas,
right?
The Kiwis. So they come along. We come out to dinner with. We played the under-19 Australian side,
right?
That weekend. So Howie come and sat with me because he was good mates with Butch, Tony Cole. So I really appreciate it, and I always had a bit of a, I always fought quite a bit of Howie, for that, and he coached me in a couple of trial teams, so that was good, and so he was coaching that side,
right? And
we played the French, and I was looking at it yesterday, and God, we had some Canterbury boys in that team as well. This was 91, so
yes.
You can see why we were building.
Yeah.
We were building at this stage. I think we had Assini was in that side, myself was in there, Quinton was in there. I think Mark Nixon, Aaron Whittaker might have been in there. I think Logan was in there, Mike Cully.
Far out.
I think Andrew Vincent was there.
Yes.
And I think Sean Hoppy was in that side. Tiero. Oh, it was a great side.
Great
side.
A
bloody good side. I think even Sia Solomona might have been in that side then too.
Far out.
And we give the French, we put 60 odd on them.
Yeah.
We give them a right.
You would do with a team like that.
Well, I think the Kiwis didn't do any better than we did. So yeah, we had that team was bloody good, and there's a few of the boys in the Canterbury team that didn't even make that side,
Yeah.
Well, you can't throw them all in, I suppose. And,
yeah.
And that would come pretty obvious the following year, Oh no, a couple of years down the track. Because, that was 91 done and dusted, and.
Right, so 92, you made the Canterbury side again. You got that Kiwi trial, and this time you finally made the Kiwis.
Yeah,
you finally did to go and alongside Quinton Pongia.
Yeah.
How special was it to make the Kiwis, and how special was it to do it alongside, the late Quinton Pongia?
Well, Yeah, no, it was pretty. It was real special actually. Like, I never knew Quinton on the coast.
Yeah.
Because when I was playing over there, when I was playing seniors over, when I started over there, I would have only been 17 playing in '84, I think. Quinton would have probably been only 11, I think. So by the time I'd left there in 85, when I'd gone on my little couple of years wandering, I think that's when Quinton came into play. I think he played for Maris over too. His grandfather was all the Caldas were all Maris people. So I never knew Quinton until I come over here.
Right.
And when I got over here, I just heard all the talk around him. You know, don't run at him. And this and
He's a pretty handy player.
He was, and so it was pretty. You know, once I got to know him in the Canterbury side, I never, thank God, I never got nailed by one of those shots he could put on. So that was a benefit. So we were in that '91. We used, you know, like we were building a real good friendship up then. You know, we'd been in a few teams together. You know, in that New Zealand President's team. We went away to the trials in '92. Like, we had another good year with Canterbury. We went off to that trial. It was quite another. We were at the Hut Wreck again. My favourite ground. And we had a good trial. Me and Johnny Lomax were the front row in the team I was in.
Gun.
And I think it was Jason Larry and I can't remember the other. James Pickering was the other two we were up against. So we played the game, and you know, you don't know nothing. So we're all in Wellington having a yahoo, you know, good night out. And don't worry about it, you know, we've played the game and away we go. And then we had the early flight home in the morning, so I get home. I was living in a flat down in Maryvale, and I get home, and next thing the phone goes. It was one of my mates' wife had rang up and said, "Oh, I just heard on the radio that you made the Kiwis." And I went, "Oh,
awesome!
Oh, I didn't know that."
That's how you found out.
That's how I found out, you know. And next thing I had this phone call from some TV station. They were sending someone around to do an interview.
Okay.
So, where's your address? And I told them where I live. Well, this bloke turned up with a camera and that, standing outside my house, flat. And the neighbour from down the back was walking past to go down and check his mail. Yeah. And we didn't have anyone to ask a question. So this guy had the camera, asked this fella, he just gave him a couple of questions, asked me, and away we go.
Just like that. So old school, I love it.
So that was, and that was quite good, you know. It made the old neighbour, he was quite chuffed about it.
Oh, I bet, how good.
So then, Addington played that day. I never played, and then because Quinton, once we'd found out, Quinton rang me up and he said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm just going to go down to the club rooms after the game, and I'll just going to have a couple down there." And he said, "Oh, I'll come with you then." And I thought, "Oh, okay then, yeah, no problem, mate. That'd be good." So me and him went down there. We got treated like royalty down the club that night. Yeah,
two fresh Kiwis.
Yeah, so that was good, and we had a few there and went into town, and then we had 2 weeks to get it all out of us, all them beers out, and
took that long, did it?
No, that was how that was when the game was. We had you know, we had we went into camp for a week. So that was pretty good actually.
Yeah, man.
There was actually I think there's about six. There's six. There was Mark Woods, me and Quinton, Sean Hoppy, Daryl Halligan. Was that them all? It might have been it might have been Tier. It might have been just 5 or 6 boys on making their debut that game in Papua New Guinea. Yeah. So it was quite good. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. So you played up at Carlisle Park for that debut?
Yeah, Carlisle Park.
Let's talk through the game. Like your first Kiwi test. Do you hear the national anthem and all of that, and are all those memories of coming up, being knocked back and having another crack? Like, does it all come together in that moment and you think, holy hell, I'm here,
Oh, no, well, I'd been through that anthem with the under-17s when we played the Australians.
Okay.
But obviously completely different to the Premier ones, the Test one, but it was the whole week was good. I knew a lot of the players. When you're trialling with them all the time, and you're playing for first division. That's the good thing about playing for Canterbury. You're up in that first division.
Yeah.
Most of the guys anyway, and I knew them for a number of years through all the trials and all the times we played against each other. So that going into camp was cool. Best roomie, one of the best roomies I had was Dwayne Mann.
Oh yeah,
Dwayne Mann. Wow, he's a roomie. Was great. He'd been there a lot. He was quite an established Kiwi by that stage.
Yep.
So he was. I couldn't ask for a better roomie at that. First up. He just made me feel really comfortable and welcome and everything.
Nice.
And like the rest of the team did. It was a pretty. There was no real egos in the team.
Yep.
Or maybe one, but but the rest of them were all pretty good, and it was good.
Nice, man.
So the whole build up to that first test was good, and looking back, it was a good first test to have. Like Papua New Guinea, it's you're not getting thrown straight into the
Aussies,
the Aussies or something like that, And no disrespect to Papua New Guinea, though. I tell you what,
I still smash you.
They smash you, all right. I tell you, they don't. They're not really big and tall or anything, but they are solid and they can hit. Don't you worry about that, mate. And so we had a good day that day. I think we won by about 66-6 or something.
That's right. You did. You gave him a bit of a hiding.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Pretty awesome experience, though.
It was actually. I got a try in that too.
You did another try.
I got a try. Who do you reckon give me the football for that try?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest.
Brent Todd.
Oh, Toddy, my old mate Toddy. What a good one.
Toddy, he flicked one out to me, put me over in the corner.
Oh, how good.
And then I got man of the match as well, so I had a pretty good first day out. Was a good day.
You just love those man of the matches, don't you?
They dried up a bit later in their life, and got to get them while they go.
Absolutely.
So so that was that was good, and then the next two games were completely different.
Yes, so that's when you went on the 2 Test series against Great Britain.
Yep.
And pretty awesome to be now playing that next level up, the top tier. And what are your memories of the series?
The series was good. It was bloody really good, actually. We headed off down to Palmy to prepare for that one. It was been up at Carlaw. We got down there. We trained well, and Palmy's I've played quite a bit of footy down there over the years. Like we had under-19 tournaments and stuff. We're down there, and so I quite enjoyed that the sports ground at Palmerston.
Okay.
And we were there the year before with that New Zealand President's team. We played the French there.
Right.
So the ground and everything was familiar, which was good. So we got out there and stacked house. Friends had come up from down on the coast.
Yeah.
My mum had been up. She come up the first week in Carlaw Park and watched me. The girlfriend come up, went out. The old Poms, quite a daunting sight. And you see them in front of you, there's some
big lads,
big lads in there, all right, and we're into it. And it was. I think it was we'd won 16-15. We won that game.
Oh wow.
She was brutal.
Yeah.
So that was all good. Come off there, and I really that's when I realised what Test football was all about.
Yeah.
You know, like there was no giving them fellas.
No.
So that was outstanding. So we got away with the 1 point win.
Yep.
So, and then we headed off back to Carlaw Park for the second one.
Yeah.
I got engaged that night too after that one.
Oh, how good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what the hell happened there. I might have taken a blow to the head or something.
That was a good time to ask.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. She said, yeah, and that's right. I've got to go now. We're off on the booze. Yeah, because when my mate come up, I said, I can't. You can go, Kay. We're going out. So that was all right. So she was staying at with a friend up there. So,
yep.
So then we went back to Auckland and prepared for the next game. And this, we had a good week's training for that because we had a series on the line. We had our nose in front.
Yep.
Yeah, and that game there, that was brutal.
Okay.
Mate, I tell you, we went out, I reckon it felt like we'd played at least 2 games.
Far out.
It was just seemed to go on forever. We'd big brawl at just before half time.
Lovely.
Oh, she was all go,
Who were you squaring off against?
It was just everyone
Just
in there,
anyone.
mate. It was just bloody people going, it was just going berserk. Right on the halftime hooter. That was all right. Nothing wrong with a bit of.
I love a bit of buffet, mate.
Yeah,
Bring it back.
like in the early days, like when I was playing on the coast and before I came to Canterbury, like the football went down there in them days was really brutal too.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to get a punch in the head, you just didn't play.
Okay.
Because you were pretty certain you were going to get someone's going to put one on you at some stage during the day.
Few elbows and all that sort of stuff, headbutts and scrubs and everything.
But that game there, I think Greg McCullum was a referee in that game. I'm sure I read somewhere once he compared it the closest to an Origin game.
Really?
Yeah, the intensity in that game.
Far out.
But yeah, they beat us. They beat us by a couple of points, I think. There wasn't much in it.
Drawn series?
Yeah. So we drew the series there, and so that was a good end to the year. 92.
Yeah. Far out.
92 was there.
So were you starting prop in that game?
Yeah.
So what's it like in a test match and you're finally at this level, they kick the ball off and you're the one taking that first hit up, off the set and coming off the back fence, running into these giants?
Oh, it's all right, mate.
You like it?
It's all right, yeah. I don't mind it at all, mate. I remember in the next year was I did a bit of that. I'll get to that when we come up to that one.
All right. All right. Cool. So yes, 1993. You played the season for Addington again, which led to playing for Canterbury in that amazing flogging of Auckland that's held in very high regard. And, what are your memories of the big game, like the pre-chat in the locker room, heading out onto the field? Like, what are the memories when you look back at that amazing result?
That was, like I said, we were building for that. We were like, Auckland wasn't an issue for us, and we still couldn't beat them on Carlaw. I think we got 9-6. I think was our closest we came up there that year.
Okay.
And then they give them a flogging. I think that was the weekend I went and got married, which was apparently you don't get married in the football season. And we'd beaten everyone pretty well that year. We were really travelling really good.
Yep.
We had an amazing side, you probably,
so
I can just, like me and Ron in the front row with Mike Cully, and then you had Simon Angel, and then you had Logan and Brendan Tudor,
Tudor called in at the last minute, flew in.
Yeah.
How good?
The year before we lose Quinton, he goes to Canberra, and then, we end up with the same, just as strong.
Yeah, you had Witt, you had Nixon
and Witt in there.
Buzzer on the wing.
Buzzer on the wing with Fedu Tower. Old Marty Krieger at the back.
Yeah.
It was good, mate. We just built up for that game, and we, like I said, we were no one was a real problem. none of like when we didn't have that arrogance about us that we could just go out there and win. Like it was, I think we all knew that every time we took the park, we were a chance of victory.
More of a confidence as opposed to arrogance.
It is, yeah. So like and the boys were all pretty grounded.
Yeah.
Like they didn't let it get away on us and that, think, we just smashed Auckland, we've just smashed Wellington and that, you know. So we just we won the right to our home final, and that like we trained well all that week leading up to it. And that's going out that day. Nothing really much difference than any other day. Apart from it being a final.
And they flew in a bunch of stars from all around the joint. Like
they completely changed the team.
They had Taiwan and Nico floated, and a bunch of stars.
Yeah, Craig Innes, I think he was in there as well.
Yep.
Tawera, Dwayne Mann.
Yeah.
I think was Mark Healy playing? I think Mark Healy was playing there. Yeah. Yeah, no, they had them all.
Yeah, man. Pretty amazing team.
It didn't do them any good.
Basically a Kiwi side.
It's just we got off to a flyer. Harry and Logan doing their stuff, take a few to the middle and then hit a blind side so they did it. Yeah. I think Logan stood up Craig Innes.
He had a great game from what I hear. I've never seen the match. I want to see it. If anyone's got footage, send it to me. I want to see this game.
So he was cool. That was, and you wouldn't, just only a few minutes in and he's down in the corner and next thing, that's great. Kick off again and we done the same thing and went down the other side. Exactly the same play, pretty much.
Awesome.
And then all of a sudden we're bloody 2 tries up. I think Buzzer scored in his corner down there that time.
Yep.
And then it just, me and Ron just got into doing our work up the middle. Mike Cully, unbelievable footballer, Mike Cully. He give you the ball when you want it all the time, So me and Ron had a pretty going on. Had us on the front foot most of the time. Yep. And then their the back three did everyone did their job 100%. And it just seemed effortless, really. Yeah. Even though it wasn't, I was fair rooted by the end of the day. But it did. It just you just seemed to just keep on piling on. The tries just keep coming and. Because when you play Auckland, you know that at some stage is going to be a bit of a backlash. And
they're going to turn it on. Yeah.
It's going to come soon. It's going to come soon. That just didn't come this day, So
you had them.
We had them good, and we got a good representation into that touring side that year to the England and France.
Yes.
I finally got on that one.
Yep.
It only took me 3 goes. But
So what was that tour like? Because you were. Looking in the frame to play Australia, but you got injured. Is that right?
Yep. My first the trial. We went up the trial, and my knee blew up.
Ouch.
Yeah, she went. It was only fluid in there, but they it was quite large.
Yep.
So that only lasted probably quarter of an hour, 20 minutes. That trial. Okay. And then that was me. So I missed that series against Australia, which was a bit of a bugger. But it's just like I said before, injuries are part of it.
Yes.
So you just got to cop it on the chin and move on. So then I just had to wait till the end of the year.
Yeah. So you went on that tour, England and France. You got your test spot back against Wales. You went on to play all the tests. Like, what an amazing comeback! So what are your memories of the tour? And I also had an unknown guest wrote in a fan question. What was the bar that you and Mark Nixon went into at 8 a.m. in the morning in London on that 1993 tour?
That was the Gunmakers. My mates had friends over there. They lived over there. I don't know if I should say that about Harry. He won't be happy with me. But it wasn't that early. It was. We were waiting before it to open. We were having a coffee, but yeah. No, the whole tour was good. Like with we getting over there, Swansea,
Yeah.
Was our first destination. Beautiful place, Swansea. It wasn't actually regarded as a test back then.
Okay.
I think they give it to us as a test later, a few years later. Yeah, I don't understand why, but that Welsh side, I've never seen a team that big in my life.
They build them big over there, mate.
Oh my God!
You ever seen Jim Mills? Oh my
mate,
God.
I got in there and there was me and Johnny were in. I think me, John Lomax and Dwayne Mann were the front row, and
right.
I think there was Quinton and Stephen Kearney in the back row.
So you've got plenty of size yourself.
Yeah, and we had, I think may have been, I don't know if it was Tawera or Jason Mackey. It was one of the two.
Right.
On the back, but this the Welsh hooker was bigger than me and Johnny.
Oh my God, this hooker.
And then the props. Oh, Jesus, these are big lads. That was a real ding dong game. That one. And that big Gerald Caudle on the wing. Jonathan Davies was on the side.
Jonathan Davies, he's a man.
Devereaux, mate. Mate, they had a great side. They had a bloody good side. Daryl Halligan had some problems. We played on a soccer pitch. Okay. And it was shorter, so Daryl kept on kicking the ball right out of the ground. So, he had to pull back on the boot there. Yeah, no. But we only just got up. We didn't get it. We just got up on that game. Really? They had that bloody mad bastard, that Ford. What was his name? Alan Ford or someone Ford. He used to play for Leeds, I think. Right. Oh, he just look in his eyes.
Just crazy eyes.
Yeah, crazy eyes. Right. He was nuts, that fella. But, the big winger, that Gerald Caudle, he was a big man. Yeah. He was a hell of a size, that fella. Yeah. No, that was. I enjoyed the Swansea. It was quite funny because after the game, we went out to some nightclub place in town, and we were having a few beers. And Sunday night, I think it closed at 12. And I come out of it, and a couple of the Welsh guys were there, and they said, "Oh, you guys want to come back to our hotel?" Yep. And I went, "Oh yeah," and I'm looking around, and he said, "Come on, jump in with us," And I thought, "Okay then." So I leaped in with him and went back to their hotel. I don't know where the rest of our lads were going. And the whole team was in there. All the families and everyone was in there, awesome. All the Welsh side. So I was in there till about bloody 3 in the morning. And drinking with Jonathan Davies.
Oh, mate, how good.
Well, mate, I tell you what, he's not a very big man, old Jonathan Davies, but I tell you what, he can put away a big beer.
He could sink some booze.
Geez, he could sink some booze, mate. I tell you what, I had the wobbly feet when I left. And,
mate, how funny.
Yeah, got back to our hotel and just packed me bags, and away we went. We're heading off to Leeds. So,
oh, mate, how good.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Like I've never come across such kind and friendly people as that Welsh team that night.
Really?
They couldn't do enough for you. It was,
mate, that John Devereau's a nice fella. I had him on the show, and great man.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, like the other guys would have just loved being in here tonight. It was just a shame I couldn't see any of them around when these guys asked us to come back there, Yeah,
kind of special though for you. You've got this little special thing that was just for you. Like, it's pretty cool,
No, it was a good evening. So we got back and that was pretty much the start of it. I ended up playing, like you say, I played in the Saturday team. So Saturday team's a good team to play in. Yeah. Not saying that the midweek team wasn't. But like on the Saturdays, you played. If you got on the weekend team, you're pretty much playing tests.
Yeah, man, you got the cap.
And you played. We played Wigan, Leeds.
Nice.
So I didn't play any. I didn't play any midweek games in England. Okay. Just played all the weekend games, which was pretty cool.
It's a good win against Leeds you had. Was that when you gave a bit of a touch-up?
35.
Yeah.
35 something.
I think Aaron Whittaker scored a try.
Got one, yeah.
Kicked a goal when you guys were supposed to kick for touch. And he couldn't understand what the coach was saying from the sideline.
That was a good one. We had a few of the Canterbury boys in that one, featured in that game. Harry and Logan, I think, come on in that game.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So, that was because they were the Guns. You know, they had Mercer, Iro, Craig Innes, I think, was playing there. Oh, Morven was in our side. Morven was fighting with them all day. He's fighting his own teammates all day. Oh, Morv. Yeah, no, that was... And because I had... it was quite funny because I had my mates from Hokitika come over.
Okay.
They followed it around and I was just giving them some tests. And
how good.
had some tickets to all the tests and that, you know, and... I can remember they were in the grandstand yelling out, chanting to Harry, Harry the bastard. Oh shit, it was fun. I could hear him. I could hear this chanting. I thought, who's that up there? But yeah, so then so that was I think that was leading up to the first test at Wembley. I think that was a real occasion, that one.
Yeah, so let's hear about it.
Yeah, so. Yeah, no, so we got up there. I was named in that first test side, so that was pretty cool. We turned up there the day before. We weren't even allowed to walk on the field.
Okay.
Us and the under 19 Kiwis turned up, so we virtually just walked around the side of it and looked at it.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, you know. And,
it's huge, eh?
Yeah. I don't know what the new Wembley's like, but the old one. I mean, there's like a big coliseum, and the doors open up, and the bus drives up, and you get out of your bus, and you're straight into this changing shed. There's a wee swimming pool in there, and everything, showers and baths, and you name it. It's, you know, and then you come out, and it's that hell of a walk.
Yeah. Up
until you come out the end of the, and then all the way up to the halfway, you know. It was just amazing, you know.
Come a long way from the West Coast, mate, all the way to Wembley.
Yeah, I know, mate.
It's pretty impressive, mate.
Well, there was a lot of my West Coast friends up on in that stand that day. I think there must have been about a good 16 odd.
Yeah. Oh, how good's that though? All that support come all that way.
Yeah.
So cool.
And they all come back out to where the after-match function that was with us.
Okay.
So
nice.
It was like being back in the Southland Hotel in Hokitika. They're all sitting there. But
beautiful.
That game, you know, like we got a wee bit of a bagging for that game, but you know, like 17. I think we got beaten 17-0.
Okay.
But you know, like we had a go. You know, like it was a bloody good Great Britain side.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Another great era.
Yeah, they were. You know, like. Mate, they just had class all over the show, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, you think you're getting on top of them and then away they go again, you know. It's just unbelievable. The speed and the size of the outside backs. And, but, you know, when you play internationals, you play the best, and that's the way it was, you know.
That's it.
So, yeah, that was a hell of a experience playing there. So that wasn't so bad, and then away we go. We moved on back to Leeds, and I think the next game after that we came up was I think it was Bradford after that game. I think. Okay. It was a midweek game, but yeah, like so then we played Leeds. I think we might have played. I can't remember if we played the test before Leeds or vice versa, and then we had. Another test, then we had Wigan. Yep. And then the final test. So the final test, you know, like we got to Central Park for the second test. Yeah, that was quite good. We started off really well. Yeah. And we were competing quite well, but you know, like once again they got us again. They got you again. Got us again. I got the man of the match of that one, which was quite another one. Add that to the big pile behind me. I was quite stoked with that because you know, Central Park. You know, it's not there no more, but it was quite a historical place in the day. Yeah. So and that was quite good. And then the third test we played at we're back at Headingley, and I remember that Farrell. Andy Farrell? Andy Farrell. Yep. He had just finished with the juniors. Okay. The junior Kiwis had just belted the junior Poms, and they'd brought him up. Really? To play in the third test. Far out. Mate, he killed us.
He's a great player.
Absolutely killed us. I think he's only about 18 or something.
He was
and
unreal.
He was a big unit, mate, and he him, the big Carl Harrison in the front row. And Oh, mate, they're a good side. And getting back to, like you were saying earlier on about taking that first one up, well, I was getting a wee bit heated in the third one.
Okay.
Sia Solomona and Calvin Skerritt were bitching at each other.
Okay.
And they'd come together a few times, and good old big Sia Solomona, he didn't take no shit from anyone. So they were hard at it. So, and we kept on getting the penalties all the time. So that first hit up after the penalty always went to me. So, and like you were saying, how do you like taking them ones up? That was worse than taking them off the kick-off, because these guys were all fired up, because of this punch-up that's been going on. And then I'd take the first one up, and next thing, Sia would take the second one up, and then Skerritt, then him would tackle him, and then it would go again. So she'd go again and we'd get another penalty. So then it happened again, and then they both got warned, and it settled down a bit. And it was bloody. We got beaten again in that one. So that was the end of our English, the English part of it, and we were setting off to France.
All right.
So when we got to France, that was I had a pretty big workload in France. I played. I played the first game. He only missed one game over there. I played all the games over there. But we only played the 4 games, so we were getting a bit light on troops by then. My roommate was Robert Peaver, and he'd done his eye socket.
Okay.
So that was pretty much Robert.
Yeah, they take a while to come right.
So and we had a few other injuries, and I think we'd bought. Did we bring in? I think we brought in Henry Paul.
Oh, nice.
We brought him in from the. They brought him in from the 19s.
Yep.
So I quite liked it in France. The football was rubbish. The midweek games.
Yeah. Flogged them.
The first game. Oh, mate, I tell you what. You hear all these stories about referees and stuff and that over there. You think, it can't be right, but it's bloody right. All right, don't worry about that. These French player running around off the field and round the old touch judge and back on the field. And that first game, I was just sitting there. I couldn't believe it, mate.
Oh my god!
And then we played the second game, and you're trying, you're trying to do your best and keep it together, but it does get a bit tough.
Yep.
But we went through there unbeaten.
Nice.
We played our last game of the tour was a test against France. Tell you, that was Mark Vaughanville played for them that day.
Oh God, Mark Vaughanville.
Yeah, he played for the French that day. So, and it was a beautiful day. Not a cloud in the sky. But bitterly cold. Bitterly cold. It was freezing. Like if you're sitting inside and the heater on, looking outside, you think, how good! I can't wait to get outside. Get outside, and she's just freezing. My toes were going all numb, and even when I was playing the game, it was
feel the ice in your lungs when you breathe.
Just remember how can it be so cold on such a beautiful day, But it was cold, and we'd won that one. And then it was, we're heading off to LA for a bit of a few days.
Bit of a yahoo.
Bit of R&R for a couple of days. And then back home to New Zealand.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Which is when you got picked up to sign with the Western Suburbs Magpies.
Yep.
So how did that happen? How did you end up at the Magpies? Did they come find you? Did you approach them? What was that process?
It was actually, I was playing in a Gore Cup final.
Okay.
And must have been 93, it would have been, And I think Terry came over and said, someone wants to have a chat to you, and he took me up to meet Warren Ryan.
Okay.
He was sitting in the stand.
That's right.
So I went up to see Warren Ryan, and he had a yak to us and that, and he said to me about would you come over and play for West? You know, and I said, oh yeah. And he said, well, we've got, I believe you're going to be selected in the New Zealand side shortly. That was before we went away,
before the tour, yep.
Before the tour, and I went, oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, I found out a few months earlier. So he had a yak, and he said to me, well, we probably, we would be interested, but because I've been playing international football, I had a transfer fee.
Yes.
So I think it was around about 60,000 for international in them days.
Yep.
So he said, "Oh, the 60,000's a bit of a, it's a bit much, I went, oh, okay." So I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, I'll talk to the coach and see what we can do, So
okay.
I actually I rang Howie. Because, like I said, I always got on good with Howie. I rang him up and explained what was, what the go was and this and that, he said, "Oh well, I'll have a talk to Mike Knowles about it." Well, Mike Knowles is the big boss of New Zealand Rugby League at the time. So they come back to me and they reduced it by half.
Sweet.
Because I'd played 10 years representative football in New Zealand. Yeah. Leading up to that.
So it was something like you had to have played 6 tests or 2 tours or something like that to qualify to go overseas or something like that.
Yeah. I obviously, I hadn't obviously, because I'd only played 3 tests in 92 and I played, only the 3 tests at that stage.
Yeah, so you must have been just short of their rules.
So they reduced that, and then I think West just deducted 15,000 each year out of my contract for the first couple of years. But it didn't matter. I just needed to get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
So went away to that tour, come back for Christmas, and pretty much straight after Christmas we were packed up and heading over to Campbelltown.
How cool, man. One of the great clubs, so much history, Western Suburbs Magpies. So you walk in, there's Stephen Kearney was over there, Paul Langmack, Ewan McGrady, Jim Sadara, Steve Georgialis, great names at the club. It's a pretty strong side, really. Yeah,
we did. We had a good side, and we had some real good young stuff coming through.
Yeah, like the McGuinness boys.
The 2 McGuinness, Kenny and Kevin and Kenny. Young Glenn Grief.
Yes, remember him.
Gold Griefy. Well, he's one of my better mates today still.
Okay.
He was there. So so got over. They're all. Andrew Willis was actually. Willis. He's one of my one of the guys I really connected with. Over there. And Smithy, Paul Smith, and you mentioned Georgie. Yeah. All fantastic fellas, mate. But that year we had I got there. They got me a job on a recycle truck for 3 days a week.
Cool.
Which was all right because I just run around behind it.
Good.
Because you only get paid twice a year.
Okay. That's right. So you work full time, and then they give you your contracted 2 payments.
You get a payment in the middle of the year and one at the end of the year. So she's a long way between pay packets. Yes. So Kay had got a job in the city, so she was happy as anything. She had a nice job. Nice. They put us in a house just up the road from Campbelltown, the stadium. Yep. So everything was going pretty good. We had a good pre-season. Went away, played in the, I think the first game for West, we played Mackay. Okay. A trial up there. And then we played, used to have those summer carnivals up there. It was like a pre-season thing. So we played a couple of games. It's like a knockout thing. Played in a couple of those games. And then the first game was against Illawarra at home. Okay. And that's when it all started to turn to mud. Okay. So I got through all that. Things were going good as gold. First game, 10 minutes probably into the game, our good wee friend you mentioned before, Jimmy Sedaris.
Yeah.
Dummy half, he threw the ball, he passed me, I was hitting the ball up, we passed it. I just went a wee bit too high, so I sort of had to sort of jump up to grab it, and when I come down I rolled my ankle. So that was me gone.
For quite a while?
2 weeks.
Okay.
And Ewan McGrady got injured at the same time, so me and he used to come and pick me up, take me to physio.
Okay.
So he's a funny little fella.
Yeah. Fast little fella.
Yeah, fast.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, he was only the 1 year old Ewan. So that was a bit of a shit of a start.
Yeah.
And so then 2 weeks later, I get named on the bench. We're playing Manly at Manly.
Yep.
So we get over to Manly, and we get absolutely flogged.
Oh no, that's the worst, isn't it?
Absolutely flogged. I think it was 60-6 or some bloody thing. It was 60 something. We did get 6. Well, that was it. I got dropped to reserve grade. I don't know why, because I didn't spend that much time on the park that day.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I don't know why. You should be looking at some of them other guys.
Yep.
You know. So I thought, oh well, buggy. You know, that's the way it is. So, and in our reserve grade, we had a guy, old Brian Cook. Cookie was our coach. He was good.
Yeah.
He was good. Warren Ryan was a bit of a funny fella.
Yeah.
I know you know the Famalos a bit. So
Yep, I do indeed.
You ever asked Joe about Warren Ryan?
Yeah.
I don't think Joe's a fan of Warren Ryan.
Okay.
Because Warren Ryan didn't really give. Because Joe came with me to West.
Yeah, didn't he end up jumping over to Souths?
Well, I think
for a little bit.
He went to Souths. I think there wasn't. I think they cut a few off all the time.
Yeah.
So I think he came over looking for a contract where I had one before I went over.
Yes.
So Warren was a bit hard to communicate with, unless you're Langers or someone like that who's been with him all the time, you know. So he dropped me to the reserve grade, and we had it was great in reserve grade.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved it. You know, we had not saying that I would have preferred to be in first grade, obviously, but we had a really good team. We were winning.
Yeah,
they were losing.
Yeah, so
it was making a bit better.
Yeah,
at least I was getting some match payments. So we were going good, and then we played. Neil Teeney got injured this day, and Warren comes and he goes, we're bringing you back up. You're starting in the front row this week.
Okay.
So, yep, no, that's good.
Yep.
I think I've been down there 6 weeks or so.
Okay.
something like that, 6-7 weeks. No, it might only be 6 weeks. So we go to Parramatta. 20 minutes into the game, the loose forward for Parramatta, he stood me up and off he went, you know.
Yeah.
And I had the hook round my neck before he even got past me.
Off you go.
So I'm getting hooked straight away, and I thought, here we go. So that's fair enough. I missed a tackle. So I get him to sit up in the stand for the rest of the game. Didn't put me on again for the rest of the game, you know. And I'm sitting there. We got beaten that day. Parramatta beat us, and I can remember because Stephen was playing, and Stephen missed tackles. They'd all missed tackles, you know.
Yeah.
And I'd only missed one.
So he had it in for you, maybe.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It was
crazy.
But he come into the shed after that, as he does, and he come over to have a yak, and because all the boys were all sitting around the shed, and I said, well, mate, you can stick your team up your arse, you know.
Yep.
I said, mate, I'm down playing reserve grade. I'm playing full game every week. I said, you drag me for missing a tackle. I said, everyone here missed a tackle today.
Yeah.
And I said, no. He said, no. We'll talk about it on Tuesday. I said, no. I said, I'll just go and play bees, mate. I'm quite happy to do that. He said, no. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you in the gym on Monday.
Okay.
So he's walked out. Next thing you know, you can't speak to him like that. And I said, why not? And he said, he's a super coach, you know. I said, well, I'm only asking him a question, mate, you know. I said, I admit I missed a tackle, and so did everyone else, but I don't see everyone else get dragged and kept off the park for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember Mark Affleck said, "Oh, you've got steel balls. You can't speak to him like that."
It's like, watch me.
So I said, oh, okay. So it was a funny old couple of days waiting to go to the gym on the Monday. So the Monday come.
Yeah.
And Warren walks into the gym and he comes over and he said, "Oh, I've been thinking about what you said." And I said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "I'm going to start you this week against the Gold Coast."
Okay.
He said, I'll guarantee you 40 minutes.
Right.
And I said, well, it's a start.
Yep.
It's a start. I can go with that. So I said, oh, yeah, no, that'll be fine. That'll be good. So we played, I don't really want, I'm going to have to say this again to you. We played the Gold Coast at home that night and, I played the whole 80 minutes and I got both of the man of match awards.
You love man of the match.
I know.
Mate,
it was actually worked. I think the wife liked them more than me because one of them was a box of wine.
Oh, how good! Yeah.
So I got a box of Penfold wine for her, and I got some other shit with something else. And, and because they come up after the game, he said, I don't know who you bribed up there in that panel, but you got both the awards. And I thought, well, maybe because I got to actually play a bit of footy this week.
Yeah, just the form on the board, mate.
So that was pretty much that was it for me and Warren. I got on with him as good as gold after that. Okay. You know, not that I didn't get on with him in the first place, you know, but you know he's obviously, and because he had all these players, you know, had the Manoa Thompsons, McGarry's, the Langers, all them guys. They were losing every week, you know, and he was still persevering with them when you're reserve grade or winning, you know, and I just couldn't sort of work it out, you know. I think, well, why aren't these guys getting a look in? You know, like the worst thing you can do is give these guys a go. They might actually prove to be a bit better than what you're using at the moment, you know. But so I wasn't my problem then. I was back in first grade and playing every week. And it was quite funny because we had this game against St George. Yeah. Down at the Adelaide Oval, and you know, like St George, you know, they had Tallis was playing down there. And
Mark Coyne,
Coyne, Brad Mackay, Scott Goulet,
Noel Goldthorpe.
Yeah, they had them all, mate. They had the whole, and Brownie.
Brown.
So we got down there Adelaide Oval, and we're going all right. Half time, we're going pretty good. We come out the second half, and I'd gone in to tackle some bloke, and I'd hit me point of my shoulder, and my whole arm just went dead, you know. Just one of those stingers, I think they call them. So they come off, and I could hear Warren on the radio to old Mark Kennan, the trainer, because he's standing right. He's going, "What's wrong with him?" And he's going, "Oh, he's only got a stinger. It's only a stinger. It's all right. Get him back out there then." And I'm sitting there thinking, far out, it wasn't like this bloody 3 or 4 weeks ago.
No.
So next thing old Mark's got me up and running and got me back out on the park. I think we ended up going down about 32-18 or some bloody thing. Okay. Well, Warren got the sack that night.
Oh, really?
So we get into the funny thing about it is we got back into the changing sheds afterwards, you know, and we're all sitting there, and he goes, "Brent," and I thought, oh, far out, here we go. I'm in the gun again. And he goes, "You can go and sit down the back. You sit down. You go down there." And down there was down the table, the rubbing tables and that, and they had an esky full of beers and stuff.
Those were the days.
And he had all the rest of them down the front of the trainer sheds, and he were ripping strips out of them.
Really?
"If you guys had put the same effort in as the old Brent did today, it might have been a different result." And he's giving it to them, you know. And once he started doing that, I'd straight into this old crack the stubby, and I'm doing these.
Oh, good.
So, we went out there. He got the sack that night.
Oh, wow.
I just started, you know, he's just coming round to me.
Yeah.
And then he got the sack. So, it's not the first time that's happened to me
really?
with coaches. But so that was okay. And it wasn't really for Warren.
No.
Wayne Ellis come up and I took over.
Yep.
And we actually won a few games in the back end of the season.
Okay.
Because Wayne was actually bringing these younger fellas up from reserve grade.
Okay.
Because once Warren was gone, and some of the guys that he religiously stuck with, they were started to go as well.
Right.
You know, so when then we started getting these younger fellas.
Yeah.
Coming up and playing, and we finished that year off pretty bloody good actually. We still were, we're about mid-table. We didn't make the playoffs, but we're a lot better than quite a few sides. So
right.
And it just it just made it really good for the following year. All those young guys getting a taste and.
But it also launched you up into another Kiwi tour, you know, off to Papua New Guinea. Yeah. But you weren't originally selected, were you?
No.
No. So what happened there? How did you end up going on that tour?
Well, it was a little bit of, probably the fact that I was playing reserve grade earlier in the year was probably the reason I never got selected. But in saying that, I'd been playing a lot of first grade before they went away anyway,
Right.
So I don't actually know why it was, but I'm not, I've been a coach now, so I know how it all works,
yes.
and so I completely understand. So I was told that I was a standby player.
Okay.
So that was all right. So there was a little bit of a yarn to that too, because one of my best mates was getting married.
Okay.
And his stag do, he's quite crazy in his younger days, old Zach. And his stag do, we were doing a 5-day trip around the South Island in a minivan.
Right.
6 of us.
Oh my God, in a minivan.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we set off from Hokitika. We set off to go to, we're off to Wanaka, but we'd only got 2 hours down the road. It'd taken us 11 hours to get 2 hours down the road. And we'd stuffed the van.
Okay.
We'd stuffed the van, so that wasn't ideal. We'd put one of those marker pegs on the side of the road, went through the radiator.
Right.
The driver thought it was one of those plastic ones, but it wasn't. It was one of those wooden ones. So, that wasn't ideal, to be fair. So we got stuck at Fox Glacier.
Oh my God.
So we're in the Fox Glacier pub all day because we jacked up with this guy. He'd finished his at the Golden Fleece.
Okay.
That was across the road. It was a restaurant bar type thing. He was finishing at 10 and he was going to take the courtesy van and take us to Wanaka.
Okay.
So we finally got to Wanaka about 1 in the morning, and we'd already had our apartments booked. So we went to the pub. We got about an hour in there, and then we're back to our hotel. But I'd get up at 6, 7 in the morning.
Okay.
And I'd run 10 k's.
Right.
So I'd get out of bed. We're not long in bed, and I'm off.
You're pretty brave, mate.
So it was fantastic, because you're running around all these country roads and that, and
sweating the booze out,
getting it all out of me.
That's
and
the one.
So then the next day we headed off to Queenstown.
Yep.
Big day in Queenstown.
Oh, I love Queenstown.
Yeah, we're partying here and here, and same old thing. Next morning, I'm up. 10k run down the road.
Yep.
That's all good.
Too easy.
So then we're heading to Dunedin, and we stopped at a place called Lawrence, I think it was.
Okay.
And it was come over the radio that they were looking for me.
Really? We're trying to find Brent Stuart. Yeah. Where is he?
So I rang up Mum and she said, "Oh, where are you?" And I said, she said, "I've been ringing up you've been called into the New Zealand team." So, okay, leave it with me. So I rang up Ray Heffernan.
Yeah.
He said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in Dunedin." He said, "Right, you need to be back at Christchurch tomorrow."
Okay.
So we had a bit of another layer up
one for the road.
in Dunedin at night. And then my mate took me to the airport. And because I had no gear, I had all this gear for going yahooing on me. So, and because they called Mike Duran in as well.
Oh, that's right. He did go, yeah.
So Mike got called in, and we got to the airport. We'd flown to Sydney, And I said to Mike, well, I've got to get on the train, mate. I've got to go out to Campbelltown and wrestle up some gear, mate, you know.
Yep.
So he said, I'll come out with you. So we got the train out and I took him over to the Leeds Club and we showed him around the Leeds Club and went up home and grabbed some footy boots and some footy stuff and then away we went back into the city and we flew out first thing the next morning.
Cool.
To New Guinea.
Yeah.
So we got to New Guinea and bloody we had to play that afternoon.
It's no mucking around.
So we get there. I'm pretty certain we played that afternoon, and it was stifling hot, stinking hot, you know. And I've just come off this bit of a bender on the stag do, and I've got to run out in 35 degrees heat. That was all right. It got all the beers out of me in a hell of a hurry, that's for sure. We played the Port Moresby Vipers. So yeah, and it was a good challenge.
Yeah, I bet.
So that was a real crack up, that one was. So that was that, and then we get in after the game, and because the late Dr. Burke, he was our team doctor, and old Burke, he was a good friend, old Dave. And he said, because we had to take all these malaria pills and stuff like that, you know. And he goes, you know, you can't drink on those pills. And I said, you're kidding me, aren't you? He said, no, you can't have alcohol with those pills. So, okay, mate. So, just about that whole tour, I went without a drink. And then he told me he was only pulling me leg. I could have strangled him. And we were sitting there, and I remember we played in the Southern Zone team up there, and we're all boys of Yahoo and having a few grogs, and I'm sitting there drinking Coke.
That must have pissed you right off when you found out.
It wasn't so bad. He was a good man, Dave. He was a good man to me, and I didn't. It wasn't a big.
That's pretty funny.
It's
pretty funny.
The bloody mongrel. So
what a great practical joke.
But he didn't leave me hanging for the whole tour. That's the main thing. So yeah, that was. So I played. I missed out on the first test. I tell you that was a scary old time.
Yeah.
We were up in Goroka, and because the Mad Butcher, I think is it Selwyn Bennett used to be his old offsider. I think it was his name. They were on the tour as well, you know.
Yep.
So we had Butcher and the other fella. They both did an entrance to the ground just to make sure people were paying.
Okay.
Because I think New Zealand League got half the gate or some bloody thing.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
So I went with Pete Leach down to do one of the gates.
Yeah.
Mate, that was the scariest time my whole life. You know, you got these guys coming in and they've got bones sticking through their nose, and they just got the wee butt pouch on, and they got spears and a bow and arrow, you know.
Proper tribal village people.
Oh, mate, it was unbelievable, you know. And here's old Pete, get your money out, you thieving mongrels, and others. And I'm going, gee, shut up, Pete, you'll get us killed here, mate. I just couldn't wait till they kicked off so we could get back inside, mate.
I could just imagine the butch doing that.
It was funny. I wasn't really funny at the time. It was quite scary, but it was different.
Oh, mate, that's hilarious.
So that really, at least I didn't have to do that the next time because I was part of the test team. The second test, I actually I got promoted back into the reserves in the second test. So yeah, 94 finished quite well, you know.
Yeah.
But every year we'd get into these. We toured every year, so I missed a lot of club tours with West. You know, they'd go somewhere every year. You know, so unfortunately it was always the same time as the Kiwis went away, which was a bit of a bugger because the 3 years I was there, I had Kiwi call-ups, and so I missed out on them all, you know. So, but that was all right. The Kiwis are more important than going away with the West boys.
And stories like what you just told me, mate, you can't buy that sort of experience ever. You know, that's incredible.
Yeah, no, and we cruised down and then got to. tell you what, we'd played that last test, and then we had pretty much a day to ourselves, and we went golfing with a mate. Because we'd been out fishing.
Yeah.
Up in Ley, we went out fishing, and 2 boatloads of us, and Fetu caught a big shark.
Oh, really?
And Dwayne Mann had hooked onto a marlin.
Okay.
So we were actually out there a bit longer than we were supposed to, because this marlin took so long to land, and then he didn't land it anyway. It got off.
Oh.
So we're probably an hour or 2 out of Ley. So by the time we got back, I was on the front of the boat, and just my shorts, and I'd turn into I was cooked myself. So that second test, I'm running around out there. You couldn't hardly touch me. I was that sunburned. It didn't make things any much better, but and it was a stinking hot day too. So yes, it was an ideal preparation, but the fishing was good.
Yeah. Oh, mate, what's it like with all the people and trees and the mental crowd and tear gas going off and rubber bullets?
Tear gas was funny. It was funny. That was funny. We're all laying on the ground, putting these bloody wet cloths over our heads. And they're big banyan trees, I think they were called, and they looked like fruit.
Yeah.
All these kummels hanging up in the trees, just full of them. I was quite surprised some of these branches didn't break. They're right along the fence line of these big trees, and they were just loaded up with people.
So funny.
Oh mate, yeah, it was quite funny. Yeah, so and that was a pretty physical game too that day. That was that test match. We won that series, and I think that was the day the old Stokesy we had to escort him off the field.
Okay.
They started bombarding him with cans and bottles and stuff.
Out.
Yeah, so that wasn't ideal either.
No.
I remember going back to Ley. I remember we played in Ley because they all eat the beetle nut over there.
Oh yes, they love that.
So everywhere you go, you go to the security at the front of your hotel, because all your hotels are all gated and that, because you can't go out or anywhere.
Yep.
On your own. So the security guards, they smile at you, and they just got all these red teeth. And I thought, oh God, you're whacked off your head, you blokes. So we played Ley this day up in Southern. We played Southern Zone, I think it was, up in Ley. And after the match coming off, and I'm drinking a can of drink, and this little Kummel kid come and grabbed a drink and scooted off of it, And because we had the police had lined up a bit of a walkway for us to come through,
Okay.
So I'm walking up it, and there's all these police, and I'm looking at these coppers, and they got these bits of bamboo they're whacking the poor wee kids with. And they're all smiling away, and they've got these bloody red teeth. I thought, Jesus, they're all on it.
Good to know everything's in safe hands.
So that was my first stint over there. So that was, it was
pretty hilarious.
Good way to finish the year, mate. I really enjoyed it.
So good. So 95, Tommy Raudonikis takes over Western Suburbs, the Magpies. Daryl Code, you'll know him well, wants to know what happened at West when Tommy was coaching you.
Oh, you'd probably be easy to say what didn't happen. I think if Tommy was coaching now, he would have that
integrity unit up his ass.
They'd be knocking on his door every Monday. No, Tommy was a people, he was a people's coach.
Yeah,
he trained you hard. And you just liked him. You wanted to play well for him because of who he was. His icon over there, and he was a real personality.
Oh yeah.
I remember the first time I met him. I was in the pre-season, and I was down because I was good friends with Glenn Grief and Young Apples and a few of the other guys, and they worked down the Leagues Club.
Okay,
that's part of their contract. They do. So they would come up and mow my lawns and bring. It was outstanding. They'd bring me up a 6-pack of VB.
Oh, how good!
And I'd sit out on the balcony while they mowed the lawns because they were working for the club. So then I'd go down and see them down the club. And this Wednesday they were down there, and Tommy was coming, and I'd never met him before.
Okay.
And Steve Noy said he was the CEO of the club, and he'd brought him over, and he'd seen me sitting in the club. So he brought Tommy over and introduced him to me, and said, this is one of your first grade players, and blah blah. And he seemed really nice, Tommy. He's really good. So that was all right. And so then when he came into training, and everyone just barred up when he got there. He was liked everyone. Yeah. Very fair man, hard. Yeah. Hard but fair. And he used to train the shit out of us. I remember this day we'd at Campbelltown. There's a Chili's restaurant. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. Chili's. There's a bit of a whole lot of them over in Aussie there. No. And out at Campbelltown there's one, and there's this big grassy hill behind it. Okay. And we used to call it the Chili Hill. Right. And he'd take us over there. So up straight up, it'd be about a good 150 metres up. Oh, that's decent. Yeah, and then you do a big loop right around the outside. Well, we'd been down and training down this other place this day, way down the Bruce off the Bruce Highway. So we'd done some training there. Yeah. And then we made us jog all the way down to Chili's Hill. Oh, God. So we jog down there. And then he made us do a few laps right around it. And then we had to start sprinting up and down it, and carrying people up and down it. And it was stifling, pre-season. Yeah. And I remember he got the shits. Yeah. He reckoned we weren't putting the effort in. So he stop, get down here. So we get down the bottom of the hill, and he said, "You mongrel." I won't say what he said, because he didn't. He says it's a little bit different to that. And he said, "You get your shit together and get up that bloody hill," and blah blah. And he's going nuts, And then he turned around, and the big Gatorade container full of all our water. Oh no, he did it. He tipped it out. He did. He tipped it out, mate. And Andrew Leeds is sitting there looking at him going, "What the hell? You killed someone here." And then up the hill we had to go. And he flogged us for another 20 minutes. Then we had to run all the way back down to this training ground we were at. Oh, mate, it was so funny. It wasn't funny at the time. No, I bet it wasn't. The boys were all thinking, this guy's gone nuts. So, we learnt after that we don't piss around. You just want to get in there. And he used to, I remember him sneaking up behind one of the boys one day and pissing down the back of his leg. He was rough as guts, wasn't he? Yeah. I remember going into the when Warren Ryan had the office, and you go into Warren's office here, and you have a cup of tea and a chat with him, Yep. And he'd open the fridge and be some biscuits and some milk. Yeah. Then Tommy come along. You go down there, have a chat, because I used to take Tommy to the pub every Thursday night. Yeah. After training, we'd go down to the Court Tavern Hotel, and we'd have the raffles. Right. And he'd have half a dozen schooners. Yeah. Kay, my wife, she'd be down there. She'd come straight from work, and I'd just have a couple of, because I wouldn't drink from about, like, if we played on the weekend, you wouldn't have a drink. So I just go down and do the raffles and be the driver, Yep. And I go into Tommy's office to pick him up every Thursday night. And you open up the fridge. The fridge is full of EB and a wee bottle of milk. And on the top of the fridge was a big packet of a whole slab of Winfield Blue. Completely the opposite to old Warren Ryan. Yep. Yeah, it was funny old days. Yeah, funny. Yeah, so brilliant. So that was Tommy, and then once we started, we'd done all our trials and all that, and we started playing. And I don't know if you've ever seen that video where the old West boys all slapping each other. Yeah, I actually saw that the other day on Facebook again. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, well, we got us in the shed one day, and because when you're in the shed, you got it's a 2-minute buzzer, so you got you get a buzzer, and you got 2 minutes before you get the next one. Then you got to start making your way out. Right. So we want to get the first buzzer. He gets us lining up against each other, and we weren't slapping each other around the face. We had to grab each other's shirt and pull each other into each other and get hiked. Well, the first time me and Grief were the front row.
Yeah.
I'd just about pissed myself. I tell you what, I'm from far out, like we're supposed to be going out to play football, and here we are cracking up over this shit. But as time went on, as we actually started getting into it, and it worked out all right, Yeah. You line up against each other and you get into it, and then the hooter goes, and then out you go. So that was quite a funny one, and it was quite good. I tell you, we got these. If we'd won every grade, and the club would shout us out for dinner.
Right.
So I remember this night. It was funny. We'd won all grades, so we're down at this Italian restaurant.
Yep.
And next thing, this female cop coming.
Okay.
And it was a stripper for Tommy. Well, as soon as he found that out, he didn't wait for her to get the clothes off. He took all his clothes off and sat on the seat. Rightio, get into me.
Oh my God. Rough as guts.
Oh, shit, was funny.
Oh my God.
I don't know. They wouldn't have known that the hierarchy at the club back then. But
it's hilarious.
Yeah, no, that was a funny old night. And
well,
there's another one of my favourite yarns about Tom. I got because I got on very good with Tommy.
Yeah.
We were playing over at North Sydney this day, and I loved playing at North Sydney. I loved playing at North Sydney Oval. It was just one of those. They were a fantastic team.
Yeah. You played in a great era, when North Sydney were such a gun side. And
it was just always a hard, honest hit out.
You'd have been against Gary Larson, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Gary Larson.
Yeah.
Good. I played tests against Gary Larson and Muir and Billy Moore and Feely. Florimo was there, yeah. They're all there, mate.
Far out.
So this day we're at North Sydney, and we get over there, and Tommy's he's just been made coach of the city team, was a country team, one of them team. So he walks into the shed, we're all in there, we're all stripped and ready to go pretty much. And he comes in with his little bag, his little gear bag from country football. And he reaches into this gear bag and goes, "Rightio, you sees. We're gonna win the footy today, you're gonna need a bit of this." So he reaches into this bag and he pulls out an ox heart.
No.
He does.
No.
So
no.
He grabs this ox's heart and he throws it over to Jim Sedaris, and Jimmy catches it here, and all the blood spills up over his face. "Squeeze it, Jimmy, and pass it around." So we're all squeezing this bloody ox's heart. And I'll tell you, I was just about in tears. This is out the gate.
This is so out the gate.
So that's all cool. We did that. We got the bell, and out we go.
Oh my God!
We come back in at half time. We were 16-0 down. The ox's heart didn't work,
No.
So he wasn't very happy. So he went out the second half, and we didn't really make any ground. They scored 16, and I think they beat us 32-16. They finished up at. And it was hilarious. So we get back into the game, into the shed, and we're all sitting around waiting for Tom to come in and give us a spray. So Tommy comes in there, and he goes, he just abused us. You useless so-and-sos, that was shit, blah, blah, and kicked this bucket. And because Wayne Ellis was the assistant coach, he thought he'd do the same. So he was ranting and raving. He kicked the next bucket. Well, the next bucket was full of ice and water. And that went into Glenn Grief's gear bag with all his gear in it.
Oh, no.
So Griefy's got the shits because he's got no gear to go over to the Leagues Club. And so he grabs his bag. He's out the door he's gone home with his footy gear on still. Oh, shit, it was so funny. I couldn't believe it. I laughed all the way home. He was a real crack up old Tommy, mate. I tell you now.
Yeah, man.
Because we had we had so much support from so many great players.
Yeah.
Great players, and coaches. Like after every home game, we'd have you get in there. Jack Gibson would be in the shed with us. Arthur Beetson would be in there.
It's like royalty, eh?
Yeah. John Singleton.
Yeah.
John Singleton. Do you know John Singleton? He's an
know him.
advertising man. He owns a lot of big horses. Very wealthy man.
Okay.
He's the one who shouted the bar at the Melbourne Cup when his horse won.
Right. Okay. So
So Singo's a very, very, like he's a very wealthy man and a very, like he's very well known over there. So he'd park his helicopter up in the number 2 ground.
Okay.
If the traffic was heavy,
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so
one of those.
So we'd have these guys in our shed every home game, mate.
Wicked.
And they'll be in there having a few VBs and yakking away.
Down dirty with the footy boys. Yeah.
Oh, mate, it was great,
Yeah.
And I remember we had a luncheon because the boys were going away on one of those trips I was telling you about.
Yep.
And they had this luncheon, so he got all the boys in, where they might charge them $10,000 for a guest speaker or something. I'm not quite sure what they would pay. So he got them all in for nothing. Okay. So the boys went and had a luncheon, and they pocketed $40,000 for the team fund for the end of year trip.
Nice.
Just one wee couple of hours down the Catholic Club.
Too easy.
Yeah. So so Tommy had all the tricks.
Yeah.
He had everything going for him, and so that we went really good in '95 with Tommy and all those young guys I was talking about from '94. Yeah. We had the McGuinness boys had come up.
Oh, they were amazing.
Brendan Pearson had come up.
Oh, yes.
Brendan Costigan now, I think he is now. He calls himself. So Junior was a regular in the side. Junior and Georgie. Yeah. Lang is you take Lang as you take him or leave him. Yeah. He's good player, Langers, but he can be a bit of a pain at times. Okay. So we had a really a lot of the guys now I speak to from that 95, 96 era at West. They reckon it was the best.
Mark Hoddle come over as well.
Hideous was there.
Yeah, he's a good man.
So we had you just asked them the best years of football, and it was 94, 95 at Western Suburbs, Right. We just had such a bunch. It was pretty much like the Canterbury side when we won it down here, The team just, everyone got on. Yeah. Everyone got on really good. Like that Canterbury team in the early 90s under Frank's team, mate, everyone had, different things to do, and none of us was the same. Yeah. But we all gelled so well, and Western '95 are very similar. Everyone just enjoyed each other's company, and we had a whale of a time, mate. I remember we'd gone up to Darwin to play Eastern Suburbs up there. Okay. And East they'd just bought Terry. They had, I think Jason Larry was there. Yep, that was the front row. Andrew Walker. Yeah, I think Tony Oro was there. Yes. What's his name? The big prop. The other big prop was
not Scott Goulet.
No, not
Dave
Scott.
Barnhill.
No. His wife died in Bali. Salvatore.
Oh, Craig Salvatore.
Yep. He was there. They had that sprinter. Oh, they had a great team, mate. Yeah,
they did. They would have had Ivan Cleary.
Brendan Hall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we got up to Darwin and we were supposed to get flogged. Yeah. We were going up there to get smashed. So no, and it didn't worry me. I was looking forward to it. I'd played 2 years up there. I knew what we were in for. Yeah. I knew what the weather was how hot it was going to be. Yep. So the way we went. We absolutely smashed them. We did. We put 40 points on them.
Far out.
On the old Roosters. It was just one of those days. Old Griefy. Griefy was they just couldn't handle him. Yeah. He was going good. Everyone was, Langers was just throwing balls here, there, everywhere. Yes, old Georgie. Everyone played so well. Yeah. And even Mark the Magpie, he even. It was the funniest thing they ever seen, mate. We'd won the game, and we were in the changing sheds there. And next thing, the stretcher comes in with our our mascot.
Yeah.
He's got the wings flopped out over the side.
Yeah.
He's collapsed in his magpie suit. It was that dehydrated.
Oh, it's hilarious.
So we got the Australia, because Phil Gould had the roosters.
Yes, he did.
And they had the Australian doctor was their doctor. So we've got Mark the magpie in there. Oh, I wish I had phones and then they just take a photo, because he was sprawled out on the stretcher.
Yep.
With a drip in his wing. Oh shit! It was funny. And we had a great day that day. A good old night out. And the boys, because I'd lived up there, and I'd jacked up with because my sister and her husband were still up there at the time, and I jacked up with all my mates from the Sharks, Northern Suburbs Sharks.
Yeah.
I was coming up because
good.
Because they were getting me up there every year. Once in the NRL, I'd go up and do their prize giving. They'd fly me up every year.
Nice.
And do all the trophy presentations and that. So Tommy was good to me. He said, "No, you can come home." Well, two of the trainers weren't coming home till later on that day.
Yeah.
So I ended up coming home with them. The rest of the boys had to get up at 5 a.m. or something and get out of Dodge. We weren't leaving till mid-afternoon.
How good.
Yeah, so we had a good old. So I'd been out with all the Northern Suburbs boys for the night. We had a good old night out.
I bet you did.
That was the last time I'd seen all the guys up there. Actually, it was a bit of a shame, but I always mean to get back up there at some stage.
But so that season, you also went on to take on the Kangaroos finally.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was that experience like, taking on the might of Australia?
Well, they weren't really the might. They were the might, but there was a lot of them.
That was the Super League.
That was the before it started.
Yes.
And we were still playing our Super League players.
Yes.
They weren't.
Okay.
So we actually went into that series as favourites.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So because we played the French before we went over there, we played two tests over here against the French.
Yes.
So we were playing Friday, and then you had to go and play for your club on the Saturday, and then back into New Zealand on the Monday to go back into camp.
Far out.
And then the following week we play the French on the Friday, back to Australia. Then the next 3 weeks wasn't so bad because we were playing I think we played in Brisbane twice, and I think in Sydney once. So,
okay.
But yeah, we'd played nearly 10 games in 5 weeks.
That's a lot, man.
So I didn't play them all. I'd played all the tests, but I'd missed 2 games for West.
Okay.
One game I had a bit of a niggle, so Tommy told me not to bother coming back because we were playing the Gold Coast.
Yep.
He said, "Well, we've got it all covered here."
They weren't overly successful during that time.
No, so he said, "There's no need for you to come back." And then the last one, which annoyed me a wee bit, I would have liked to play it, but the old Tom said, "No, you're not playing this." We had a reenactment against St George at the Sydney Football Ground.
Okay.
Oh no, the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Right.
And they had the actual the model of the jersey that they wore on that day.
Oh wow!
Just a black one with just the one white hoop.
Okay.
In the middle of it. So yeah, that was when I got there, he said, "No, you're not playing today." I said, "Oh, why not?" He said, "No, you've had too much football, I said, "No, I'm all right." No, he said, "No, you're not playing."
That's that.
So I went, okay. So a good mate, Junior, Andrew Willis, wasn't playing either. So we found a nice wee spot at the ground.
I bet you did, right next to a bar.
I said, "Well, if you don't want us to play, we'll go and do something else." So we did. So me and Junior went and found a nice wee spot.
Yeah.
So that was quite a busy year that. And we missed out on the 8 come the end of that year.
Yep.
Because back in them days they had I think there's nearly 20 odd teams in the comp around that.
95 there was 20 teams.
Yeah.
And 96.
Yeah.
Yep.
And unfortunately for West, I don't know if it was. It wouldn't have been a setup, but we all had to play 2 teams, every team once, and about 4 teams twice.
Okay.
Yeah. To get all your rounds in.
Yes.
The amount of rounds.
Yeah.
Well, we ended up with the Broncos and Canberra.
Oh, they were hot teams.
Twice both years. And Manly, I think. I thought, how does this work?
They're like the three best sides of that era.
The better ones,
Yeah.
you know. And I thought, well, how have we done this again? We've copped it again.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. I remember, was it 90? I think it was 95. I'm pretty sure it was 95 or 94. It was one of those 2 years. We played Canberra at Canberra, Mel Meninga's last game.
Oh, yeah.
48,000, I think.
That'll be 1994.
94, was it? 94, yep. So that was a hell of a day.
Yeah.
That was massive, you know.
I bet.
And I love playing Canberra. I love going down there. I wouldn't go home with the team. Actually, the first year we went down with Warren Ryan, we had to drive our own cars down and drive ourselves home, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Take
your own car down to
It's Canberra. A long way to go,
It is a fair drive. But we'd stay back. I'd stay with Quinton.
Yep. Of course,
and we would go out. And I remember my mum, she come over, and she always used to reckon, to the family still think it's that Ricky Stewart's related to us.
Okay.
And because when all the Stewarts come out way back in the day, they ended up around Canberra, and some of them come over to New Zealand.
Right.
And apparently, my uncles, I've never really spoke to Ricky about it. I haven't seen him for years anyway, you know. But my mum always said, "Oh, he's definitely a Stewart.
Yeah,
he's definitely a Stewart." I'm going, "How the hell do you know?"
There's a lot of Stewarts out there.
Yeah. So, I was away at an uncle's funeral last weekend, and it came up. And apparently one of my other uncles used to go to these reunions over there all the time.
Okay.
And he said he used to see him at these reunions. So I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, but then the other day there was another lot of Stewarts at this. We were at one funeral. They were at another funeral, and they were related as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I'd so we'd finished. We played that game, and the rest of the team had all gone home. I had my mum and the auntie had come down, so we'd booked them into a nice flash apartment.
Yep.
So we went to once they finished the game, we went to the club, and Quinton got us in. We were in.
Yeah.
So Mum had dinner with the Raiders.
Oh,
Mum and my auntie and Kay, they were all sitting around off the Raiders having dinner, and me and Quinton, did what coasters do best.
Of course.
Stood at the bar. We had enough dinner over here, love.
It's one of the great teams of all time, that 94 Raiders side.
Yeah. No, it was.
Pretty impressive team.
Yeah, they used to beat us up a bit.
Yeah, well, you got Brett Mullins, Ricky Stewart, Laurie Daly, Ken Nagus, that's just the backline.
Keep going, mate.
That's
keep
crazy.
going, yeah.
Crazy good side.
Yeah, that was another side I loved playing against. I remember, every time we used to head down there, it was always a real... The first year was good because there was me and Stephen. Yeah. And down they had Quinton and Ruben and Johnny. Crazy. And Davey Lovac.
Yeah, Davey was there as well, yeah.
He was down there as well, so...
Then you got David Furner. Far out, what a side. Bradley Clyde.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, no, they were a fair side, all right.
Absolutely.
So then at the end of that 95, we finished early. Mad Monday.
Yep.
Mad Monday, had a couple of days having some fun, and then it was pretty much straight back into training again because we had that World Cup in 95.
Yes.
So, so I had to get myself ready for that. So that was another good year.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. So did you room with Mark Horo on?
Yeah, Mark was my roomie
on
there.
That 95 trip. So let's hear a bit about the World Cup.
Yeah, no, Mark was. I've had some good roomies. Like I said, Dwayne Mann and Sidiru was always a good one. I roomed with Gavin Hill for a bit.
Oh, nice.
But Mark, he's a businessman through and through, old Mark.
Yeah.
So he'd gone down and he'd got the video set up from downstairs, and he set it up in our room.
Okay.
he was a crack up, and then he would go and he'd buy chocolates and cans of drink and that, and he'd get all the boys up the room to watch the video, and then he'd start selling them. It was funny. Yeah, no, Mark was really good. Me and Mark go back a long time. That first Kiwi trial I had in 1985.
Yeah.
Mark and his brother were both in that trial.
That's right. Yeah.
We go back quite a ways.
Yeah.
So that was all right, and that World Cup in England, it was good because even though I got a game here against the New Zealand residents.
Yes.
And because we were in the smallest pool when we got there, I think we only had. May have only been
two other teams in your pool, I'm pretty sure.
Pool, yeah.
I think you had Tonga
and Papua New Guinea. Yeah, so the boys just about lost to Tonga.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. Miracle save.
So then Frank, there was me, Johnny Lomax, Brendan Tudor, Daryl Halligan, John Timu, Jason Williams, and Wiz.
Yep.
We were called the Seven Neville Nobodies.
7 Neville Nobodies.
Because we never got Johnny got a run. Johnny got a run in the final game.
Yep.
That's when Sid got
injured, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So Sid was injured. So Johnny got a run. I think Wiz played in one game, and then I think that was him. And all the rest of us never played.
Right, okay.
I think actually Jason Williams might have got a run. Yeah, so we got Daryl Halligan got these shirts made up for us, the Neville Nobodies. So, we were pretty much, they'd go and do their teamwork, and we'd just be sitting in the next paddock kicking the ball around. So, which was a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
But, it was understandable, like it was a bit of a bugger. We all would have wanted a game and be a part of it.
Yeah.
But the fact that we only had them 2 pool games was that was a problem.
Probably doesn't help. Yeah.
No, it didn't happen. And that's what I think Frank explained to us. We hadn't, and once they played Australia. They nearly beat Australia.
Yeah.
They should, if they'd won that game, they wouldn't have changed that side anyway. So the likelihood of us getting the game was, wasn't much. So, but it's the other thing is we were there.
Yeah, you got to go to the World Cup.
Got to go to the World Cup.
Pretty cool.
Got the gears.
Yeah. Yep.
Just would have been really nice. It would have been because that was my last year of the Kiwis.
Yeah.
It would have been just really nice to go out and
little swan song
and actually had played some sort of a part in that World Cup.
Yep.
I suppose being there we'd played our part, just like we were there just in case if there's injuries or something like that. It would just happen that it didn't happen that way. So,
okay.
But it was good. It was a good trip to go on, a good tour. Enjoyed every minute of it.
Nice.
Yeah, no, we had some fun. So that was
95.
That was 95, done and dusted.
Yeah, so I had a question from Sean, great name, on the Facebook group. Did you receive any interest from the Super League during that 95 Super League war when all that was going down? Because you stayed at West for 96, is that right?
Yeah.
And then, but then the Super League happened in 97, so did they come calling?
97 I went to Illawarra.
Yeah.
For a wee bit. The Super League didn't come to us.
Okay.
Not that what had happened is I went to training on a Monday night. Monday night, and Wayne Ellis, who was our assistant coach, come up and said, because I just got Player of the Month that previous weekend.
Yep.
I got the Player of the Month couple of, and that for first couple of months I was going quite good in 95, and they come up and they said, we're going to give you a $40,000 bonus.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, that must be because I've been, got the Player of the Month or something,
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Yep.
So I couldn't wait to get home to tell Kay.
Yeah.
So I got home and I said, Kay, you wouldn't believe it. She said, what? I said, they're giving me $40,000 bonus. And she said, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And then the phone rang.
Yeah.
And it was my agent, my player agent, and he said, the club talked to you today. And I said, yeah, they did, mate. I said, they're giving me a $40,000 bonus.
Yeah.
He said, tell them to stick it up their ass.
Okay.
And I went, what? He said, you tell them to stick it up their ass. Meet me at Phillip Street tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Because that's often Phillip Street was where the Rugby League headquarters were.
Right.
So okay, rightio.
Like, sorry, wifey, hold fire on the shopping spree.
Yeah. So go rightio. So I get in there, and Sam Ahu was my player agent, and Sam took me aside he said, I was in here yesterday. So I think the clubs like West and a few of those ones down the bottom, they must have said, send your top 6 players in, and they give him a bit, you know.
Right.
So he couldn't, because I was only current international playing at the time.
Right.
For West.
Okay.
So he was sitting there, and the six players they sent in was there, and he's thinking, well, why isn't Brent here?
Yeah.
So I don't know if he'd gone and said something to him or something.
Okay.
For them to say, you got this here, this bonus. So I went in the next day with him, and he said, rightio, we've got a meeting with Bob Fulton shortly.
Okay.
So I said, okay. So we'll go in there and I sit down with Bob.
Yep.
And he goes, he's just got a print out of all what I've been doing and that. And he just said, oh, yep, you're prepared to stay here? I said, yeah, it took me to 27 to get over here. I'm not changing now.
Yep.
This is me. Yep. Pretty much me now to the end. So he said, right, we'll give you the such and such.
Okay.
And I'm okay.
Sweet. Lock it in.
Yeah, I was how good's that? Yeah, lock that in. So when I signed,
decent bump.
Yeah, it was a good bump, all right. Don't worry about that. So I went, okay. So that was all good.
Nice.
And so when I got back to home and told Kay what the other figure was, it was
shopping spree is back on.
Yeah. Oh well, I paid it all. I paid all my tax straight away out of it. So you just about lose close to half of it anyway. Yeah. Before you get it in one hand and put it out in the other hand. So, but it was decent. It was very good. It was a lot better than the rest of the boys.
Right. Okay.
I remember the few days later, me and Junior Willis, Andrew.
Yeah.
We borrowed Wayne's car from down the club. We were going to Phillip Street to pick up our checks. Off we go. Yeah. So we get in there and they give us the checks, and I didn't show Junior my one. I knew what was in his one. So straight to the bottle. I paid for the 24 packs, so I had a wee bit more.
I can get your one.
So I grabbed a box of beer to drink on the way home.
Oh, funny.
No, that was good. So but it was a pain in the ass in 96.
Yeah.
Because they kept on putting the competition off and off and off, and where we normally play maybe three or four trial games, we end up playing about 7.
Oh, okay.
Because like every week, and they weren't trial games in the end. Like they were virtually like NRL games.
Yeah.
Because it was just the top teams playing against your top lot.
Yep.
So until they decided because they kicked it off a wee bit later that year.
Yeah.
Because they were fighting and carrying on about
teams were forfeiting the first round and
all that
sort
of stuff.
Yeah,
so, we just it was a relief once we actually finally got sick of playing trials.
Yeah.
You're playing football virtually for nothing. You weren't getting, and it was a pain because we'd had a really good off season in them trials. We'd won most of them.
Okay.
And then when it came to the real McCoy, it went the other way.
That's no good.
No. So then once again we started our familiar. As every other year we'd have the Broncos or Manly or St George would be up there in the first 2 or 3 games that we'd play. So we never got off we never had a really kind draw
Okay.
to start off the season while I was there. But now, like end of the day, you got to play them all. You got to beat them all.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
it's all right.
True. So you ended up leaving the Magpies after all of that.
Yeah.
And you said you ended up at Illawarra Steelers. So I didn't actually know that until we were yakking before this. And so how did that all come about?
Well, in '96, round 6, we played Balmain at Parramatta Stadium.
Yep.
And I was standing in the tackle and Big Sarah come over and he just wiped me out, you know.
He has a habit of doing that.
And I remember, and he split me under the eye, and the trainers are there and they're squirting the water on me, and I'm going, hey, it's not my eye, it's my knee.
Yeah.
So we got off, went into the shed, and I'm walking on it all right, you know. And the surgeon, we had a doctor there, and he said, sit up here, and next thing he's just moving my knee to side to side. He said, you're gone, mate.
Gone.
That's you gone for the year.
Wow. ACL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was round 6, '96.
Okay.
And to be fair, I'd had throughout my career, I'd done pretty good in injuries, really. I got away with a lot of injuries, so it had to come because it's a pretty unforgiving area, the middle of the park.
Yes.
So that was that year buggered, and you know, so just carried on at the club, and we had a young fella coming in who, because that year we'd been to Papua New Guinea again.
Yes.
We played the Port Moresby Vipers over there, and we took away a young front rower called John Scandalis.
Oh yes, I know
He
him.
was only about 17 then, old Scando.
Yep.
So Scando come along, and so he started playing. Once I got injured, he sort of moved up.
Yep.
And they also bought another front rower called Harvey Howard.
From the UK.
From the UK.
Yes, I know him well too as well.
I think he was a winger in the UK, someone told me once.
Really? He played like prop for England, and he came over and played the Broncos year 2000, I think, as well.
He went to West. He went to the Broncos after West. But someone used to tell me he used to play. Did he play for Leeds?
I don't know what English club he played for, but I remember his times in the Australian comp.
Someone told me he played on the wing, which I found quite bizarre because he was a hulk of a man.
He's a big dude.
He's a big fella, and so Harvey come in, and that was pretty much was the end of me.
Okay.
And you know, to be there's no way I can compete with him. Like I was 31 at the stage.
Right. He's a young buck.
He was a young fella, and and we know what happened with young Scando.
He went on to win a comp.
He went, he turned out to be one of the club's great props, you know. So so it was a bit of a bugger because I didn't want to leave there. Me and the wife had a lot of friends there.
Yeah.
It was a shit. But in saying that, I had a couple of offers from a couple of places, a couple of sides, but I stuck with Illawarra because it was from where I lived in Campbelltown. There's a wee back road. It was only half an hour down to Wollongong. Okay. So we're still nice and close to all our friends and that. Nice. So we just bought a nice townhouse down there and moved down there. Yeah. Got into the priest, completely different. Andrew Farrer, completely different to Tommy Raudonikis. I mean, there's only one Tommy Raudonikis. Andrew was completely the opposite. You know, like he's a real family man and this and that and that. So yeah, that side of it was where at West, if we had a team get together, it was a team. Yep. And the boys would go hard. Old school. Go hard. And when you go to Illawarra and we have a team get together, it was the team and all their families. Okay, so barbecues and all of that. Barbecues. I think I like the West. The West, the version was a bit better than this one. So, so that was all right, you know. And Kay didn't. She wasn't, you know, like overly fond of, you know, going to, because we just had our first or only child then. Yep. So you know, like she, like Kay used to go there. She'd be down there at Campbelltown. She'd be there for the under 23s. She'd be there for the whole day. Yeah. She just loved it, you know. Yep. But then when Mitchell come along, and you know the corporate box of the ladies was right up in the top of that Wynn Stadium there. Yeah. And so it was a hassle, more of a hassle than anything. And
Okay.
so I done the pre-season. We're going all right, and we had a good team too. You know, the front rows down there was David Walsh and Craig Smith. Kiwi.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, he did. He played in that grand final in '99, didn't he?
Craig Smith, and then they had, and then you know, like obviously in their backs. Oh, we had Brad Mackay was there as well.
Nice. We had Roddy Wishart.
Wishy was there.
Far out.
Wishy was there. Brett Rodwell was
Paul
there.
McGregor.
Well, Mary McGregor was there. Remember a guy called Will Robinson used to play for Souths? The wee halfback.
Oh, that one doesn't ring any bells for me.
He came over. He was with us. So we got there, and you know, like it was, we were having a good old time, and we weren't far off from our first trial, and I was actually supposed to head off straight after training. I was heading to Batlow to my mate Cherry Mesh's wedding.
Oh, Cherry Mesher, he was at West as well.
Yeah, champion fella.
Great player.
Cherry's one of the best blokes I've ever met.
Okay.
He's a fantastic fellow, Cherry. So we're just about to finish the training, and I bent down to pick up the ball, and next thing it's like a shotgun going off.
You're kidding.
Snapped me Achilles.
Oh, I've heard that it sounds like that. You know.
Didn't feel a thing.
Didn't feel a thing.
Didn't feel a thing. Looked down, and there was this big gap in down the back of my leg where.
You're kidding.
Yeah. So that was that. So I was booked in. That was a Friday afternoon. I was booked in for surgery on Monday.
Okay.
Went in, and they got that done. Come out of it, and they got me a surgeon. They sent me to see this fella, who is an Italian fella in North Sydney.
Yeah.
So he was the one who done all the rehab. So I was back. I went to training, and Andrew Farris said, "Oh, you might as well just go away and just come back when you can train."
Okay.
And I said, "No, I won't be doing that. I'll be here for every training run." So I went to every training run, done all my weights. So it's just to help me load up the weights. And because we're at the back of Wynnum Stadium was where they trained, and their training grounds were at the back, and we had our gym there. So you can sit in the gym on the rowing machine, you look out the window, you can see them training. So once we'd done our gym session, and they'd go out and do their ground session on the grass. Yeah. I would get on the rowing machine, and I would row until they come back.
Okay.
So
long time.
Yeah, the whole time, mate. Long time, yeah. So I done that for 14 weeks.
Wow.
14 weeks, and I was back playing within 14 weeks.
Yep.
Which was at the time was one of the fastest ones.
Okay.
I remember Kevinero ringing up once he done his and wanted to know who the doctor was. I went and seen him.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that a wee bit now it's a little bit different because they put you in that boot then.
Yeah, the moon boot thing.
Oh, no, it's like a cast, and they leave it for 6 weeks.
Right.
Because they've got to tilt your foot down so it's no pressure on the on it. So they I think now every 2 weeks they take that cast off and they move it a wee bit, and so they're getting it a lot quicker now. But but that was pretty much it for me, and I got back on. You know, I got called into Andrew's office, and he was pretty impressed with the effort I'd put in to get myself back up to get on the field. First game we played Eastern Suburbs at the Sydney Football Stadium. Yeah. And I was playing reserve grade, and they had this American winger. Yeah. And I'd been, because all the previous year since round 6 I had that knee reconstruction. Yeah. And I'd also had a screw put in my shoulder in that off season as well, where trying to tackle Brad Fawn a few years earlier.
Oh, mate, he's massive.
Yeah. So I tore the tendon off my rotator cuff.
Just couldn't get a break.
Yeah, it would all come at the one time, so it was probably all right. So I just got that fixed at the same time while I was with my knee. So it just all came, and I hadn't played for that long, and you're up. So I'm up out of the dugout, and I'm straight out there. Yeah. First fella I was coming from was this American sprinter. Yeah. So I wasn't no way I was going to get him, so I put my arm out and took him out, got him right around the throat.
Plan B.
That was me return to Rugby League, and I can't remember who the referee was, and he'd obviously known that I'd been out for a while. And he said, "Come on, Brent, you got to get him down a bit lower than that, mate." And I said, "Yeah, sorry, mate, it's been a while." So I played. I didn't get on very good with the coach at reserve grade coach at Illawarra.
Okay.
No, there was a bit of a clash there. He was Ian Millwood. He was.
Oh, I know the name.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he went away and he played and he coached in England and got the Man of Steel. I think they sacked him over there for abusing one of their supporters or something.
Okay.
But it was a funny old setup because there was me and another boy from West. There was another Kiwi guy, Will Robinson, and there was another fella from the Gold Coast, and they'd signed that year. Well, we'd all ended up in reserve grade.
Okay. All right.
So that there was, I think, well, why are you guys signing players from outside the district? Because they got a really big pool, district, like the whole of the South Coast. So I thought, why would you, sign people to come over here and you're not even going to use them in first grade, where they've been playing first grade in other clubs they've been at. But, Illawarra had a good team that year and they finished in the top 4.
Yeah.
And so did the reserve grade. So we had, reserve grade, we had 2 bites at the cherry. We got bundled out after we lost both of them, and the coach, he'd put you out, you'd be out there for 25, 30 minutes and he'd do a spreadsheet every week about your stats and that,
Yep.
And he's got front rowers there on there for 60 minutes and I'm on there for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm doing twice as many hit-ups as what they are.
Oh, mate, doesn't add up.
I said to him this day, I said, well, have a look at these stats you give us. Yeah, Basil, because they called him Basil. I said, look, I was out there for 20 minutes and I've done 9 hit-ups. Oh, such and such here has been out there for 60, he's only done 5.
Yeah.
I said, how does that work? He said, those stats are, no, don't worry about those stats, they mean nothing. I said, well, why are you giving them to us for this every week? And it just went from bad to worse with me and him. And I remember one day I had good friends of mine, Steve Little and his wife. He used to be the president of Addington when I first came over.
Okay.
And my sister came over from Perth.
Right. And
I'd already spoke to the coach. I said, I've got friends from New Zealand, my sister coming to watch me play this weekend, Yep. He left me on the bench the whole day.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. So I went over I actually give him a bit of a barrel over the league club later on too. So I got called into the office on the Monday. I got another little bit of a smack around the wrist, and because all I really did is when I got over the league club, I just went up and said, thanks to the game today, Basil, and walked away. Just a bit of a sarcastic sort of a shot at him.
I can imagine.
And so that didn't end up well, and then we ended up going away at the end of the year because my international career had been finished by then.
Yep.
So we ended up we had a great trip. We went to LA, Vegas.
Nice.
LA, Vegas, San Francisco, and Hawaii.
Okay.
We were away for about 16 days, 17 days.
Sweet trip.
Yeah, so I remember we'd meet down the Illawarra Club for lunch before we were flying out. They had a bus and they'd on a few beers on the bus.
Yep.
And Bob Millwood was, he used to be one of the big bosses of Australian Rugby League back in them days.
Okay.
Ian Millwood's father, so he'd come over and, because I had an option of another year, and he came over and he said, we won't be requiring your services next year.
Okay.
And I already knew that, and I said, well, it didn't really matter, I wasn't going to be playing anyway.
Yep.
I was going to pull the pin. So then that was that, really. So.
Okay, so back to New Zealand?
We did. We'd packed all my gear up, and I didn't know this till too late. Well, Cherry Mesher is from Batlow. He had a good captain coaching job for me out at Batlow.
Oh, okay.
But my container for my gear was just on its way to New Zealand.
I see.
So
oh, no.
it just come a little bit too late.
Okay.
But like Mitchell was just born, and Kay was an only child, so her mum and dad were coming over once or twice, every couple of months. They'll come over.
Yeah.
So it just seemed, to be fair to them, we'll move back to Christchurch, and so it's only a 3-hour drive. But yeah, so that was that. But I did do a little stint in England.
Yeah. Okay.
I did a stint way back 92, 93. I was actually the year before that they'd come over. Halifax had come over and they wanted me to go. Once again, it was I was playing for Addington in the Gore Cup again.
Good old Gore Cup.
And I'd done the shoulder again.
Okay.
So that was a bit of a bugger, because that was 4 or 5 weeks, and because back in them days you only had a small window over there. You had to be back by March or something.
Yep.
So I sort of and because Halifax then were one of the top 6 clubs in England.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, oh mate, I've just blown a first division spot here, but well, it can't be helped. And bugger me, they come again the following year.
Okay.
They come asking if I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, shit, I'll come over. So yeah, me and Kay went to England, 92, 93.
Nice.
And it was quite good, because big Carl Harrison.
Yeah.
He was a captain. He was a big front rower from England who I'd propped against numerous times.
Yeah.
So I went over there as a second rower.
Okay.
Because we had John Fieldhouse and Carl were the front row. And I was in the second row with Mike McLean, from State of Origin player from Queenslander.
Right. Decent.
Yeah, and we had Gary DeVordy was our loose forward.
Okay.
So we had a pretty good pack.
Pretty nice pack there.
But my first game we played was a Challenge Cup game.
Nice.
We played at Nottingham.
Okay.
So we beat them by about 80 or 90 points.
Wow.
So that was an easy introduction to English Rugby League.
Yep.
So then that was the only easy part, was the Challenge Cup, the early Challenge Cup games.
Yeah.
So and because we had a great backline, everyone on the side was an international. I think the only 2 that weren't internationals was Mike McLean, who was a Origin player, and we had a centre there called Greg Austin, who was he played for Manly in the day, and we had John Bentley. I don't know if you remember John Bentley.
I don't know that name.
John Bentley played for Great Britain in Rugby League and rugby.
Okay.
He played for the Lions.
Okay.
Old Bentos. And who have Mark Preston, who played for England.
Yep.
Graham Hallis was a tourist here, an English tourist, might have been in, I think, in one of the early games when the Canterbury beat England here.
Oh, that 1993.
Might have been 93, were they?
Pretty sure that's when Canterbury beat
England?
Yeah, like they beat the touring.
Was that 93 or 92?
Maybe it was 92.
92, because me and Quinton never played.
Right.
Because we were playing them in the test.
Must be 92.
Yeah, it would have been 92, so he played in that. So everyone on this team had played for Great Britain at some stage in their life. Yeah, because they have a Great Britain team for every year goes by.
Yeah.
So and we had a pretty good side. We had I remember playing. We drew Wigan quite a bit over 2 times while I was there for Halifax.
Yeah.
I remember this one. We'd been down. Roger Millward was our coach then. I don't know if you remember the great Roger Millward.
I definitely know the name.
Yeah, he was. He's one of their superstars over there. He'd done about 2 or 3 tours down under. So he was our coach. Well, we went down to play Leeds, and the team that lost that day, their coach was getting sacked, was the rumour.
Okay.
So Leeds had, Ellery Hanley and Oro, and Leeds they were guns,
It's a stack.
So Roger got the sack.
Okay.
Roger got the sack that day.
Oh dear.
Leeds beat us.
Rumour was true.
Yeah, the rumour was definitely true, all right. That was that. And so one of the other really, the great game, we played Wigan and probably about 2 weeks apart from each other.
Oh, really?
Twice. So the first one, we played them at Shrum Hall, which was our home ground.
Yep.
There's a big lane on Shrum Hall. I reckon there's about a 14-foot drop from one side to the other.
Yep.
So we played Wigan up at Shrum Hall this day. And like me and Carl, we'd play 80 minutes every week up front. And this Wigan team come out and their starting props were Platt and Skerritt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Betts was in the second row, and with Clark and who's the other second row they had there? Was it Billy McGinty or it might have been him? Yeah. So they had Platt and Skerritt started the game, and 20 minutes in they changed them two for two more internationals.
Oh my God!
They had that Paul Lucas and that Neil Cowie.
Yep.
So they rotated these 4 international props for the whole 80 minutes. So me and Carl we were propping against fresh men every 20 minutes. It was all right. They beat us. They beat us by about a dozen points or more.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it was the last round of the Challenge Cup or the first of the playoff rounds. I can't remember now, but we had Wigan at Wigan.
Yep.
And it was good. Andrew Farrell was actually playing in the centres for Wigan that day.
Yeah.
And we went out, and the whole time I was there, all I wanted to do was get in the team of the week.
Yeah.
And this was my last game before I had to come home. Okay. And we'd lost. We lost the game, 1918.
Oh mate.
1918.
Gathered.
I'd given old what's his name, John Bentley. Not John Bentley. I'd given the Manly fella. He reckons I'd never pass him the ball. Always pass it to someone else. So I'd give him a nice pass, and he went round, popped, and old Andrew Farrer and scored. Yeah. So I never heard the end of that. Said, why don't you do that more often?
I did what you asked, mate.
Yeah. Greg Austin. Yeah, old Greg Austin. So I ended up getting in the team of the week.
You got it.
Left a bit late, but it was quite good. And so that was, I really enjoyed, and then they wanted to sign me full time. Okay. But they changed that rule. That rule about you can't tour. Okay. If you're playing over there. Really? If you could come and play in the test sides, but you had to go back to because in the old days, I think when they done them tours, those English blokes get pulled out of their clubs and just stay with the Kiwis. Yeah. Whereas if you played over there, then you had to you only got called into the test teams and that. Okay. Where I was really wanting to go on that tour. I think it was a good call. I'd probably done myself out of a bit of dough on that, but it was end up being the last one of those great tours. Yeah. So it was a bit of a gamble. It paid off. Yep. So that was. It's pretty amazing, man. What a career! Wow. I love the English conditions. Like we used to play winter in them days. Like we play summer there now. Freezing over there, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. But when you don't work, it's not so bad, I guess. And because I was the only Mike McLean was at Halifax, and everyone else were all pretty much and lived in other cities. Yeah. Apart from our reserve grade side, we're all just local lads. Okay. So on a Monday, I'd go and help our reserve grade coach. He'd go and do rugby league sessions at schools. So that'd be me on a Monday, and then I'd catch up with a couple of the guys, and we'd always go out and have a couple of coldies on a Monday. Yeah. We usually played on a Sunday, and the weirdest thing about the whole thing is it was a professional side. They were in the top 6 in England, like I said. We only trained twice a week, an hour and a half a night. That's it. Tuesday, Thursday. Oh my God, that's professional. No different than playing for Addington. Exactly. And I got paid. How good. So So that was me. That was my English stint.
So cool.
I better put that in there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, that's great. So you came back to New Zealand. Then you ended up getting into coaching. So should briefly touch on your coaching to finish off.
Yeah. No, the coaching was that was all right. I wasn't. I'd come back. I was going to play. I played for Horswell under Phil again.
Yes.
I told Kay one injury and that's it. I'm done.
Yep.
The injury come in the second game.
Oh God, that's not long. One and done.
So it was funny because we'd played the first game. We played against Sydenham. It was a Wednesday night game. I'd just played 4 years in the NRL. Hadn't got a scratch on my face.
Yeah.
First game against Sydenham, they opened me up under the eye. Well, no, I did. I did get one cut over in Aussie. I did. And I thought, oh shit, great to be home. So then in the next game, I sprained the ankle. So that was pretty much me.
Yeah.
So then I did nothing for the rest of that year. Bummed around for a couple of years playing a bit of prezzies. Okay. Just to fill in me Saturday.
Yeah, why not?
And then it was a funny old thing really, because Gary Freeman would come down. He was a Kiwi coach at the time, and he'd come down. He was doing the prize giving for the Bulls.
Yes.
And he's done at the Racecourse Hotel, where I live around the corner from there. So I went round to see Wiz. I knew he was around there, so I went round and had a beer. Yep. Invited him round home the next day for some lunch. He come round and had some lunch with me and Kay.
Nice.
And he said, I'm in room such and such, come see me tomorrow morning, I want to talk to you about something, you know. And I said, oh yeah, okay. So I went round the next morning and he was putting this under 16, under 18 national championship in place. Okay. He said, I want you to coach one of these Canterbury sides. And I said, oh I've never really coached before, mate, you know. Yeah. And he said, oh no, you'll be right. Yeah. But we did. When I was the first year and my first time in the Kiwis, Howie Tammany made us do a level 3 coaching course one night. Okay. So I was sitting around the rooms, you know. So I'd already had that. So I'd had a wee bit. So I said, oh yeah, right, yeah. And I'd run into Phil Prescott as well. Yeah. And I said to Phil, mate, Phil was the assistant coach of the Bulls at the time. And I said, if you ever need a hand, mate, just give us a ring. I'll come around and help you out, mate, you know. Okay. So come midweek, I got a letter from Canterbury Rugby League, asked me to coach one of these sides. Yeah. And then Jared Stokes, he'd finished with the Bulls and went to Wellington. He moved on to Wellington. And Phil was promoted to the head coach. Yes. And he rang me. Okay. And that's how it all come about. So I said, yeah, I'll help you. I hadn't coached before, and I've gone right straight in. My first role was the assistant coach of the Canterbury Bulls.
No mucking around.
No. So, which was good. Jeff Whitaker and put me through courses and that as we went. Yep. So within that first year, I'd got all the certificates and that I needed. Yep. To coach. It was a wee bit of a learning curve that first year, but you know. Phil Prescott, mate, I couldn't ask for a better guy to learn from. You know, I had so much time for him as a coach. Like I said earlier on, you know, and he pretty much coached me to be a coach as well. Yeah. So I done 4 years with Phil, which was outstanding. First year we went not so good. Phil would probably tell you that when you were talking to him. Mm-hmm. And we won it the second year. Yeah, impressive. And then we had a couple more goes at the finals. Yeah. And then that was about 2006. Phil pulled the pin. Yep. I got handed the reins 2007, the last year of the barter card. Yes. I think I can't remember if we got into the finals or we got knocked out. We needed to win the last game to make the finals. It was one of the two. Okay. But if we got knocked out anyway. We're up there, and then they went back to provincial football. Yes, we went back to just to Canterbury, playing Auckland and whatnots. Great first year. We'd go over, play the coast every year. I'd give them half a dozen players. Yep. And we'd done that with Phil as well. I'd been to Australia. In 2006, I'd got a coaching scholarship.
Okay.
So I went to West Tigers.
Oh, nice.
And because Phil had already been on a few of these, so
Yes.
a lot of the stuff that Phil was teaching me, he was getting from there. So when I actually got to this West Tigers, it was like I'd done it all anyway.
Okay.
We were doing most of this stuff. So,
Right.
It was quite good to see that we're doing the right thing, on the right track. So yeah, that first year we had a good year. We'd won everything.
Yeah.
I had a very good coaching career against Auckland. I beat Auckland more than I lost. So
how good's that?
So yeah, that year we'd beaten Auckland, and Mike Doreen had the 18s, and they'd got through to the final.
Yep.
We were top qualifiers, yet we still had to go to Auckland to play.
Oh, really?
Even though we had two teams to fly up there. So that was all right. We got up there. I think Mike's team got beat, and we got dealt to as well.
Okay.
That was all right. Following year, I went over to the coast. Peter Kerridge never lets me forget, because it was the end of the year we got through unbeaten.
Okay.
And there was a big thing in the paper, the unbeatables.
Yeah.
And Peter Kerridge is going, the coast beat you. But you had half our players beat, and you had them coast referees, mate. I did live over there, remember?
They're like the French referees. Yeah.
So that was an amazing year, that one.
Yeah.
For me as a coach, I played in that game 16 years earlier. That was the 93 game.
Pretty amazing, eh? Full circle.
Yeah,
and coaching them.
And that was the last time we'd won at home. They didn't let us play at home anymore. Yeah. And then we got another home final, but we'd won everything into that, going up into that. And that final, it was just, it was just crazy, here I go again. Yeah. And I've got Frank's hat on now. Yeah. And I got Frank down to come down and watch our last training run and actually have a few words.
Oh, nice.
And Mike Doreen and Justin Wallace come down, and
cool,
because they were both involved in it. And just to have a talk to the boys about what the day actually means. And so we went out. We had a perfect training run. The boys, Frank and the boys, really laid it out for the boys, and I was even wanting to play myself. Yeah, listen to them talking and that, Nice. So we turned up the next day, and it was a real fist fight. We were up and down, and and we got away with it. I had a great team. Great team that year, and I always had like Josh Rubin and great leaders, and Johnny Limmer. Had some great leaders in the team and great players, but straight after the halftime break, I thought we're gone for all money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had a massive head clash between Vince Furry and Craig Smith. Okay. So they were two of our key players. Yep. Taking Craig Smith, he's a little bit unruly, as you'll probably know.
Yes, I've heard stories.
So this year I got him into this Canterbury team, and he really knuckled down and come to train, and look, we got straight into a New Zealand residence game, Yep. But these two had this. It was a sickening head clash. They're both out. Yeah. They reckon when they pulled Vince aside, rolled him over. There's just a big pool of blood on the floor and on the ground. So we lost both of them straight away, and I thought, oh God. So that put a little bit more pressure on old Jay Puki. Yeah. He had to get out there and carry a bit more of the load, because we'd lost Vince. But they did. They all got up, and mate, I tell you, they left it right to the end, but they never gave up. They never gave up, and we snatched it. We snatched it off the buggers.
How awesome! And
it was an unbelievable day. It was just to actually be a part of one as a player, and then to do it again as a coach was
very special.
Was pretty special.
Yeah.
And then after that, the next 2 years we had the earthquake, obviously, and then we had the Scorpions. I did 2 years with the Scorpions. Yep. Well, it was pretty much the Bulls with a few other people from around the district. And so, and then at the end of that, must have been 2011. Yeah, must have been 2011 was my year. I was going to do it in 2012. We played Auckland down here, but I'd sort of lost me enthusiasm and all that for coaching and that. Because I was doing what was happening. I was doing club football because no barter card.
Yeah.
And then I doing Canterbury.
Yeah.
And for 3 years, I coached the New Zealand residents.
Right, so you're all coached out.
So coached up virtually a whole year. You only used to get 2 or 3 weeks off,
Yeah.
And by 2012, I'd sort of pretty much had enough of because I was doing club football as well.
Yeah.
So I got Mike Doreen as the assistant, and we played Auckland. We got beaten by Auckland, which was a bit annoying. And I just felt like it was time to hand it over.
Hang up the clipboard.
Yeah, hand it over because I had a fair crack at it. And same with the 2 clubs that I coached. I coached Papanui for 4 years.
Okay.
We had 2 grand finals while I was at Papanui.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Lost both of them, unfortunately. The first one against Linwood, I thought we were coming back. We just left our run a wee bit late.
Yeah.
And 2010 against Hornby, we'd beaten Hornby throughout the year. We'd beaten them all. We'd won the comp.
Yeah.
But this goes back to Hornby and the experience they have in these big games, mate. Because they got to that final and they were a completely different team. They showed us up all over the place. So so then I ended up coaching Hornby. I think Corey was coaching them before me.
Yeah.
And I think Johnny Limmer rang me up and asked if I would be interested in coaching Hornby. I said, "Oh yeah, I'll come over." So I'll come over, and I don't think Papanui were too happy about it. But mind you, I wasn't contracted to them. And I'm only getting 6 people to training. And it was not doing me any good. It was, so it was time to get away from that because it was not only, it was bringing me down as well.
Yeah.
I'd go and set up and coaching all the stuff that I'd been taught and wanted to do, and then you go and set it all up, and then 6 people turn up and you got to bring it all back in, and it's quite disheartening.
Yeah, and I guess that's part of the reason why Canterbury's been on such a decline for so long.
Yeah, and
people not turning up.
And my son at this stage was playing for Hornby, and I was taking him down to training, and they'd have heaps down there running around, and I thought, oh, this looks a bit better.
Yeah.
There's people here. So when they approached me, I was like, yeah. But that job that was quite a hard job.
Yeah.
Hornby.
Yeah.
Would have been one of the most challenging ones, especially those first 2 years, because same thing there. We had guys that wouldn't come to train.
Okay.
2 players didn't train for the whole year 1 year. They played every Saturday.
Yeah.
But I had no choice. If I didn't play them, I'd weaken the team.
Okay.
We didn't have. And they had work commitments, so they said.
Yeah.
So we went through that whole year, and then I have a team with Baxi and Corey and Johnny Limmer and Leo, and who else was there? Oh, we had a Richie, but the starting team could play 80 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there. And I've got no disrespect to the guys on the bench, but you're trying to put guys on get them out there.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And you don't want to weaken your side.
But it's like to the detriment of the side at the time.
And that's what it was. It was pretty much like.
Yeah.
So it was a real struggle trying to get everyone game time.
Okay.
Without doing too much damage to the outcome of the game, but. We limped through there. We got through to the final.
Yeah.
And Corey will tell you, already told you that he got the drop goal from halfway or something.
That's right. I think it was 60 metres going, still climbing, mate.
It was an extra time, and it was actually a fantastic kick from Corey in those conditions, and that was the Horsell side with all their superstars and that.
Yeah.
The boys just dug deep that day, and we give it to them, and then the following year we win again, and have a go, and us and Horsell again in the final.
Yeah.
And that one there was quite frustrating final, because we had a couple of tries disallowed in regular time too, and we went into extra time, and then one of the boys made a mistake, and they capitalised on it, and then time's nearly up, and that young lad who made the mistake was scored for us at the other end then, so he's wiped that mistake out.
He's redeemed himself.
And then when that extra time would run out, and we went into extra time,
far out.
And that's where and the same again, I had guys, I just couldn't play them. Like Rulon, he was playing so strong, he was he should have been an NRL player, or Rulon, because God, that year there was nothing in Canterbury that would go near him. He was just so dominant in the front row, and he was out there. I couldn't replace him. And then I had the likes of Corey and Baxi, and Baxi was that kicker, mind you, he missed a couple that day. And then the likes of Johnny Limmer, and I had a reserve hooker on there, so I got him out there for a wee bit. I also had a Scottish Sevens player playing for us that year too. So it's then the winning of that game was just being patient, and then the experience of a guy like Johnny Limmer, getting the boys. I think he grew on to get a good quick play of the ball and
go forward and
catch him offside and under the post, and away we go.
And
so
that's that. Nice.
So we won that in extra time, but
crazy. Just
listening to a few people on the sideline, they weren't supporters of either club, but they said, you guys should have. Them 2 tries that were disallowed were definitely tries, because they were standing down that end.
Okay.
And, they said you would have been unlucky today if he's lost. So
right.
So
well, that's nice to know. You sort of were the better side on the day.
Yeah, well,
got the chocolates.
It was a good, it was a real battle, and I think we're only seconds away from having to replay the game again.
Far out.
I don't know I think that's what they normally do or whatever, but. It was very pleasing to see Dale Baxter put that one over. Yep. And then the next 2 years wasn't as good for me at Hornby. We still tried in that, but other sides, we're improving as well.
Okay.
So, we made the playoffs. I think one time, I think, and then we missed out on them or something. So, and then it was that was pretty much time for me to hand the reins over to Jed. I'd had 4 years. I don't like to have too long. I had 4 years at Pep.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd done five years as a head coach for the Bulls and that, and 5 years as an assistant. So.
It's been rugby league your whole life, mate.
Yeah. So then once that was, once I finished with the Prems, I did another year, just like helping out Slinky with the Bees down there at Hornby.
Yep.
They didn't have a coach, so he coached them, and I just turned up and helped out when I could. And
right.
It was just an easy way out the back door,
Yep.
Wean myself off it. So now I just watch it now. I'm just a supporter.
Nice, mate. Right. Well, what an amazing career. It's absolutely fascinating to hear your stories. Love the Papua New Guinea stories in particular. I always love those. So I just want to finish with a few fun questions. Had a couple come through on the Facebook group. This is Ross Luscombe wants to know, do you feel that today's game has gotten harder?
Oh, there's definitely, they're a lot fitter now, to be fair. They carry a lot less weight. They're all big units. The contacts, I think, I remember one of these trainers telling me once that the collision in a game of rugby league is like a car crash. It can be like a car crash.
Right.
So, and I think with the fact now that, like back in the old days, like the hard parts was the brawling, and the players weren't probably as fit.
Yeah.
They would probably be fit, but they He may have carried a wee bit more weight on him.
Yep.
So I think that's why you probably don't see as many injuries back then as what you're doing now.
Yeah.
I think now they're just so like racehorses now. They're that lean and fit and fast, and it's just something's got to give.
There's so many injuries
There's different arguments to it. I would say I haven't played in today's game. I can tell you back when I first started on the coast, it was bloody hard.
Yep.
Very, very physical. When I come to Canterbury, the physicality was starting to change a bit then. Okay. That brutalness of the fist fighting and all that was not so much involved in it. The head high tackles and the swinging arms and all that was taken out of it.
Okay.
So but I think to answer this question here is it would be harder now, I think, with just how fast these guys are running and how big and powerful these. Like in the old days, they wouldn't be sitting in gyms pumping weights and like hundreds and like 200 or 300 kilo squats and 150 bench and stuff like that. I don't think there would have been a lot of that going on in the earlier days. So
a lot more drinking at the bar, I think.
Yeah, a bit more of them curls.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Okay. One more fan question was Richard Morris. Have you gotten any better at golf?
Richard, no, I haven't. No, I actually haven't. I'm trying. I hit more consistent, better shots.
Yep.
But the score doesn't come down.
What handicap are you playing on?
I'm at the bush and I'm a 36.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I only play social.
My kind of golf.
I haven't played for a while because I've got a bit of an issue with my shoulder blade. It's
fair play.
I just had some X-rays on that the other day, so hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Yeah, hope not. Okay, so my last few questions I've got for you is, so I'm guessing you support the West Tigers. Is that the NRL club you support?
They got a good reserve grade side.
Yep.
Western Suburbs Magpies.
Yep.
Yeah. I do. I my coffee cup at work is a West Tigers one.
Yes.
I find it hard to, especially with all the bitching involved with West and Balmain.
Yes.
I believe now, the last time I was out at Campbelltown, West have gone back to their own Western Suburbs League club, where it was West Tigers for a wee bit.
Okay.
West have got all the money.
Yep.
They've got a couple of leagues clubs. They've got some golf clubs. They've got quite a bit of land. Balmain, they've got nothing.
Yeah.
So back in the early days, it was all Balmain. I think West. I can't be 100% sure, but the person I was talking to at the club was one of the old sponsors of West.
Yeah.
When I was playing, and he reckons they could, if the NRL would let them, they could quite easily go on their own.
Like what Manly did with Northern Eagles.
Yeah, well,
go back alone.
So, yeah. But if so I do. I used to like Balmain too. To be fair, I like both clubs, but it's a bit of a shit fight. Yeah. And it's not only them. St George, Illawarra. You don't even hear Illawarra.
You never hear Illawarra. You don't even hear magpies.
Yeah. No, you don't. Yeah. You get a wee bird on the sleeve. Tigers this, Tigers that. And then you have them halfwits like Benny Elias on the 360, all these, this is the place to play. Like how it is a nice place to play, but so is Campbelltown. Yeah. Campbelltown have got a very good...
It's a joint venture.
Yeah.
Got to go both sides.
They've got and like how it's a shithole compared to Campbelltown. Campbelltown's been done up. Right. And it's a very nice place to play rugby league now. When I was playing there, a lot of the teams didn't like coming out west. Yeah. But Campbelltown in recent years is growing. It's quite a popular place to live out there now. Yep. So, and the Campbelltown Sports Ground is fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, they've done a lot of work on that since I haven't been there, and now from back in the day. So I think they both. I like how it's a shit of it. You ever been there? No. It's a shit of a place. Right. Great ground. But I like playing there. I like Leichhardt, but it's all one-way streets, and it's just a pain in the ass to get there. It's all right if you're in the team on the bus. Yeah. Otherwise, it's
fair enough. Yeah. All right, so who do you think's going to win the NRL in 2024?
Well, I don't know. I'm looking at... I haven't been very good at picking lately. Me either. I'm going all right this weekend so far. I'd like to see the Sharkies have a go.
Well, they had a good win last night.
They had another good win. Yeah. I know you got the Penrith are definitely going to be thereabouts. Yep. The Broncos, they probably will too, but I'm not a fan of that Reece Walsh. He gives me the shits.
Mate, you and me both. Good player, a little arrogant bastard.
That's exactly right. I think like why be like that? You just should be thankful that you can play.
I was chatting with a dude, Shem, if you're listening. He's a mad Broncos fan, and I was like, I just can't stand how he pokes his tongue out and dives to score a try. I hope he drops one day. That'll crack me up.
Yeah, that's typical Australian stuff. But they sit there and they go on how good he is and all. They see the good things, but they, one thing that coaching does.
I bet you see other things.
You do see a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of mistakes in him. He's as a defender, he's not a really good one-on-one defender back there.
Yeah,
like a lot of the good fullbacks are. So. But they never mention that. They always go on about them crazy dives and this and how fast he is and that. But they don't say anything about how fast he drops off tackles when they go past him.
No. Oh, he's only the size of a little fella. So
and he's got some these other issues too. But at the speed of the game that now, you're gonna have problems with you can't have a perfect game every day. So.
No. Right. So okay, and. Final question. If you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Jesus. It'd have to be a roast.
Yeah?
It'd have to be a roast, yeah.
Dirty old roast beef?
Oh, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, just a roast, you try to get one in a week.
Yep.
I like me roasties.
Yeah,
so,
gravy and potatoes and all the trimmings?
Yeah, get the whole lot, mate. I do all the cooking at home, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I've got a week having a roast pork tonight. So
beautiful.
Yeah,
I love roast pork. That's good. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been an absolute privilege to meet you, have you here in person. I love doing these in-person ones. It's really great. So really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, no problem, mate. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Right, so thank you everyone for watching out there and listening on Spotify. Make sure you get on the Facebook group, Point of Difference Rugby League. And thanks again, Brent Stuart. Absolute privilege, and we'll see you all next time for kickoff.
Full time.